Welcome to the MLB Sunday leadoff pregame show on the Roku channel. Nationals Park, about 1.5 miles south of our Capitol building. Angels in town for the third of this three-game series. Washington trying to sweep a couple of young ball clubs that have had trouble in extra innings this year. So wouldn't you know it, each of the first two games go extras, and Washington's come out on top both times. Bob Carpenter, longtime big leaguer, Mark Gubicza, and after knowing you all these years, nice to finally get a chance to sit next to you.
Bob, it's an honor to be able to work next to you. I just love being in D.C. The Angels haven't been here since 2017. Right. Even got to go by the White House the other day. So being here in D.C. and watching this national team play, very similar to the way the Angels play with all the young players. It's been fun so far. If you're an Angel fan, not so much, but if you're a Nats fan, definitely it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been weird because the Nats lost a rain-soaked extra inning game to the Giants on Thursday. So here comes Friday, and the whole thing happens again. And Alex Call hits one by Luis Guillorme. Washington walks it off.
I think Angel fans are done hearing the word call, that's for sure, because he's been really, really instrumental in how well the Nationals have played so far in this series. As bad as it throws in the outfield, and they did it again. I mean, coming back in ball games. Both these teams have come back late in games to be able to pull off comeback victories. So the Nationals coming back twice in a row to be able to win.
Washington 31 comeback wins this year. That's Jose Tena, one of the three players Washington got when Mike Rizzo traded Lane Thomas to the Guardians a couple of weeks ago. That brings us to our pitching matchup. And really at the big league level, Jack Kochanowicz, not a lot of action. You guys know all about his arm, like the Nats know about the lefty MacKenzie Gore.
Yeah, Kochanowicz, he's got a power sinker. When he gets his arm in the right direction going, working downhill with that sinker, he could be very, very effective. Good breaking ball, really solid change. I've had a couple complete games down in Double-A, which you don't see too often in the minor league level. So he has the stuff. We don't know exactly how far he's going to be going in this game, but if he works that sinker down, an aggressive lineup that the Nationals have. They're up there swinging early. They make contact, so hopefully he'll be able to go deep in the game. And MacKenzie Gore, for me, I've always been impressed with him, even going back to those San Diego days. First 17 starts, Bobby, was really, really good, though, but his last 6, he hasn't been as effective.
Yeah, the 4 1/3 per start. He's averaging 19 pitches per inning, one of the highest totals of any starter in the major league. So it's a matter of command. You know all about that. I'm sure you and other guys who turned out to have really good careers. It's different when you're a young guy. The ball doesn't always go where you want it to.
Yeah, Bob, I think everyone's, they want strikeouts. They want it swing and misses, and sometimes you give hitters too much credit. His stuff is good enough when you're throwing 96, 98 miles an hour to fastball, good assortment of secondary pitches. You need to be more aggressive. The more pitches you throw, the better opportunity of hitters will bring those pitches in the zone, and they're going to be successful against them.
And that brings us to the Washington lineup. Fewest homers in all of baseball. They got to put it in play. Alex Call has done that lately. Luis Garcia on the upswing at second. Juan Yepez, the ex-Cardinal. There's James Wood, another player like Gore that the Nats got from San Diego for Juan Soto. And then you get down to that number 7 spot. And I know guys like Mark Gubicza love having a center fielder behind you like Jacob Young. He goes and gets them as well as any outfielder in baseball. Trey Lipscomb returned to AAA over the last day or so, but this is the core of what Washington's looking to for the future.
Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing C.J. Abrams. I know he's a dynamic player, but seeing James Wood so far in the series, his power going the other way, all his home runs going to left field, that tells you at some point he's going to start turning on pitches, but his speed is great, and his contact and his knowledge of the strike zone has been very, very impressive.
Yeah, C.J. Abrams battling a bit of a lower back problem. They have an off day tomorrow before the Nationals go to Baltimore, so they're going to give him 3 or 4 days off before he's back in the lineup. All right, now we get to the Angels. Kind of middle of the road in the American League as far as offensive stats, like the Nationals are. I know everybody in D.C. has been looking forward to seeing Zach Neto at short, and they faced Brandon Drury in the National League before, and a former Philly from up the road, Mickey Moniak.
I mean, when you look at Zach Neto, you mentioned he's a chance to be a 20-20-20 guy, 20-plus doubles, 20-plus home runs, and 20-plus stolen bases from the shortstop position, 10 defensive run saves. Defensively, he's outstanding. But you look at the bottom of that lineup right now, Joe Adell has made an adjustment in his swing, and he's starting to drive the ball. He's got a 9-game hitting streak, showing a lot of power, playing much better defense. But keep your eye on Kevin Pillar. He's had a lot of success, as you know, Bob, against the Nationals.
Oh, the Nats have seen him rake in this ballpark for a lot of years. Speaking of that, A bit of controversy these days with Anthony Rendon in Southern California. Here in D.C., after the Nats drafted him out of Rice University, he was fabulous. Had a big season in 19. Nationals won it all. They clinched not far from his hometown down in Houston. So his franchise ranks over the years: games, hits, extra base hits, the homers and the RBIs. And of course, he was clutch. Look at the 4 hits, the 2 homers in the last 2 games against that very good Houston pitching staff. Now, Mark, you have been a first-hand witness to how things have not gone that way since he became an Angel.
But you know what, Bob? Everybody on this team, the young players, go to him all day long. And being in the clubhouse in spring training, I got to see that firsthand. Even though there has been some ups and downs with the Angels, he has been really good mentoring the young players.
All right, and for more on Anthony Rendon, here's Dan Coco.
Thanks, Bob. It's been a productive weekend back in Washington, D.C. for Anthony Rendon in more ways than one. He picked up 5 hits over the first 2 games of this series, and while he's not in the lineup for the Angels today in the series finale, he will have a chance to continue to go down memory lane here in his time back at Nationals Park. He's gotten standing ovations from the Nationals Park crowd before his first at-bats on Friday and Saturday night. Had a chance to catch up with Davey Martinez, his former manager, members of the coaching staff here in D.C. that were his teammates on that 2019 World Series run. And yesterday he went up to the Champions Club here at Nats Park, got to see the World Series trophy. Images from that October run that was so memorable, and one that Anthony was so integral in. He hit 3 home runs in that October run. The first one in the decisive Game 5 of the division series off Clayton Kershaw, who came out of the bullpen for the Dodgers late in Game 5. And then in Games 6 and 7 of the World Series, Anthony Rendon homering in both of those games in his native Houston. Caught up with him the other day. He said he still monitors what the Nationals have done over the last few years, and despite the fact that it's been a tough stretch for Anthony in L.A., he's loved coming back here to D.C. this weekend. He's gotten a chance to get some literal hugs from people that he knows so well, and the fans here at D.C. have wrapped him in a proverbial hug as well. Anthony Rendon not in the lineup today, but we're getting closer to first pitch in this series finale. Coming up next, Mark DeRosa and our studio crew will break down the man for the Angels, shortstop Zach Neto.
You know who's hot right now? Your guy C.J. Abrams.
The Nationals all-star candidate at shortstop.
C.J. later.
I love watching the guys that just continue to get better and better. He's getting it going.
I've always loved C.J. Abrams. He is a complete hitter.
Just getting better any way I can.
As soon as he went to the leadoff spot, that's when the national season changed.
Welcome to the C.J. Show.
I want to get to the next break. Every time. Every time.
Gone, goodbye.
This guy is just starting to scratch the surface of what he can be.
We're coming in hot.
Before getting on the field.
Let me bring up a couple of numbers, too.
Teams get hot, teams get cold.
I check out off base.
This guy, stuff-wise, big-time stuff.
You had your pick.
Off base, only on MLB Network.
Welcome back to the MLB Sunday Leadoff Pregame Show on the Roku channel. We're going to talk some shortstop play this morning. And with that in mind, back to D.C. area native in the studio, Lauren Shahadi.
Bob, Mark, thank you so much. Dero, you visited with the Angels earlier this week, and you walked away saying there's some nice building blocks, and the guy behind you certainly fits the bill.
Yeah, no question about it. You look around, they got some Logan O'Hoppe, Joe Adell, Nolan Shanuel, but I'm in on their shortstop. Zach Neto can do some things. We're going to focus on the offense here because it's starting to pick up. He's starting to understand how he's being attacked. He's starting to understand when he's got count leverage and he can take some chances. And what matchups represent a situation where maybe he has to kind of simplify his leg kick. Pause this right there. When he first broke into the league, this is a meteoric rise from Campbell University. He didn't spend much time in the minor leagues. It was get him to the big league as quick as possible, and we didn't know if this leg kick could truly play. It plays in big spots, but what I love about him is when he first broke in with no strikes and one strike, he'd give you this. He was trying to go deep, run it. And then when he got to 2 strikes, pause it. I want you to focus on the fact he's going to get a huge leg kick here, and then he's going to just set down that front foot in a 2-strike approach. Run this real quick. Pause. So when he got initially to the big leagues, he'd take his chances, and then with 2 strikes, he would put it down. Run this. Kind of classic stuff. Shorten it up a little bit. He's changed where his hand started this year. You look at July 10th compared to last year, a little bit differently with his hand placement, okay? But pause this real quick. What I love about him is constant adjustments being made. He's starting to understand there's some guys that this leg kick is not going to time up right against. Some guys have slide steps. Some guys have exploding stuff coming in on him, especially relievers. So he's taking his chances where it makes sense to just set the foot down. 0-0 count right there. Sets his foot down and goes deep. And it's continued on in the second half. Against Texas, 2-1 count, doesn't go for the big leg kick. The hands are electric. He can still go deep in big spots. And again, 2-strike approach in a big spot to give his team the lead. So, yeah, there's a couple nice pieces, position player-wise, with what the Angels are doing, and Zach Neto's at the top of the list for me.
You called him a ball player, and for you, that is the highest honor. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. MLB Central airs weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time right here on MLB Network. Bob and Mark, back to you.
And from our nation's capital, more to come on this beautiful Sunday morning.
Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, and Jim Leland each had their own journey, but now their paths converge in Cooperstown, New York. The 2024 Hall of Fame induction ceremony, Sunday, July 21st on MLB Network.
The National League Rookie of the Year is Corbin Carroll.
This dude is an absolute beast.
He's got every tool. He's got the power tool.
Carroll has hit another one.
Runs like the wind.
There goes Corbin. Go, Corbin, go.
He plays D.
Oh, that is good.
His signature play, that sliding grab.
Pound for pound, maybe the strongest player in the league.
It's been an incredible ride.
Since its inception, the Boys and Girls Clubs have been more than a fun place for kids to go after school. For some, it's been a second home, where they can learn, play, and grow. Thanks to the partnership between Major League Baseball and Boys and Girls Clubs, children of all backgrounds have access to safe spaces. All right, let's go take a selfie. MLB Together and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, empowering children and building futures. Bring it in.
Welcome to MLB Sunday Leadoff on the Roku channel, presented by Lululemon, where the Angels take on the Nationals here in the nation's capital. It's been a crazy weekend of baseball around here. A couple of extra inning games. Washington has won both of those in walk-off fashion. Here we are, Game 3 Sunday morning. Bob Carpenter, longtime big league pitcher. Mark Gubicza, analyst for the Angels. Let's get right to your shortstop, Zach Neto. We saw Mark DeRosa break him down. Is this a foundation player for the Angels going forward?
Defensively, 10 defensive runs saved, but what he's doing swinging the bat, especially over his last 7 games with 4 home runs. He's got an OPS of 1550. Driving the ball to the center field. He's pulled the baseball, but he's making consistent contact right now.
For a couple of years, the Nationals' second baseman, Luis Garcia, a bit of a project. They've worked hard with him. He's improved his defense. He rakes against right-handers, and we'll see what he can do against lefties down the road. But right now, he and C.J. Abrams, when Abrams is healthy, pretty solid up the middle.
Well, Garcia, 34 extra base hits already this season. He's got good speed. I'll tell you what, his defensive play on Matty Theis yesterday was really a difference maker in the game. So his defense has improved, and we know what he can do, swinging the bat with those extra base hits.
Speaking of Abrams, not in the lineup today, shaking off a bit of a back problem, but the Nationals going for the sweep. Coming up from Nationals Park, lineups, first pitch, Sunday baseball, straight ahead.
You know who's hot right now? Your guy C.J. Abrams.
The Nationals all-star candidate at shortstop.
C.J. later.
I love watching the guy.
And Colco here with Zach Neto, will be the #2 hitter for the Angels today. Zach, thanks for doing this. Before you step in for your first AB, your last couple months you really caught fire. You've been on another level offensively. What do you think has been the biggest factor in that?
Just kind of simplifying everything, having a lot of fun out there, competing my tail off in the box, and, it's like I said, just having fun.
You've developed a nice relationship with your manager, Ron Washington. He's got decades of experience in this game. What's the biggest thing that you've taken from him so far?
I mean, he's a mentor to me. He's a father figure. He's pretty much everything. And to learn from a guy like that, it's a dream come true. And especially a young guy like me, be able to take whatever he has to say. I take it all in.
Zach, good luck today.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. And thanks to Zach Neto for taking moments while he's trying to concentrate on that first AB of the day. So he hits behind Nolan Kochanowicz, the first baseman, in front of the veteran Kevin Pillar, who's expected to retire when the season's over. Taylor Ward's on a tear. Brandon Drury, longtime National Leaguer. And then down through the Angels lineup, they're 10th in batting average, 11th in runs, and 11th in home runs in the American League. They have faced MacKenzie Gore once. That was April 12th of last year. And in that game, Gore only lasted 3 2/3, 4 hits, couple of runs, and lasting is the big problem, Mark Gubicza, for him right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got to be aggressive. He just has to be more consistent with his fastball. It's going to be 93, 98. He's about 56% fastball usage, curveball 20%, slider 15, changeup at 9%, and he'll throw a sweeper about 2%.
We're going to start this ball game. Cloudy, 79 degrees. And that's about 15 to 16 degrees cooler than it was here a week ago when the Milwaukee Brewers were in town. We're going to be right on time with first pitch at 11:35. And MacKenzie Gore throws the fastball in there to Kochanowicz, who in the series is 0 for 5, but hitting over 300 his last 50 games.
Big series, a 3-game series up in New York, including a leadoff home run in Yankee Stadium.
And there's Gore getting inside on a lefty. Yeah, Angels had some high hopes coming into the series. Series wins on the road, Mets and Yankees. That's hard to do.
Yeah, they played really, really well. They scored runs in bunches. They had back-to-back games against the Yankees, in which they scored 6 runs in an inning. And it hasn't been the case so far against the Nats. By the way, Kochanowicz was the guy that fouls the baseball off his foot or back leg as much as anybody I've seen.
Interesting you bring up the foul balls. MacKenzie Gore in his average start usually gets 20 or 30 balls fouled off, which does not at all help his 19 pitch per inning count. And there you go on 0-2.
Especially at 96, you wouldn't think as a left-handed batter, but Kochanowicz stays inside the baseball really well against lefties. That's why you see even in the outfield, they're playing him to hit the ball the other way in the air. Does have some pretty good pull power with 12 home runs and 12 doubles this year.
And Gore, the high breaking ball fouled. MacKenzie Gore makes his 64th career start today. He's 18-23. And the Nats, of course, 3 huge building blocks right now from the Juan Soto trade 2 years ago. Gore, James Wood hitting cleanup today, and C.J. Abrams, whose back is bugging him, and he hasn't started since Thursday. Although he did pinch run in this series, but they have a day off tomorrow before the Nationals go to Baltimore and Philly, and they'll hold him out for another couple of days. And the foul balls bedeviling MacKenzie Gore right out of the gate here.
I mean, 0-2 counter, seeing the number of pitches since that point for Kochanowicz.
Look at this, 2 strike foul balls. Hunter Green, Cincinnati, great arm. I mean, those are guys all with big time stuff. There's the swing and the miss. And for MacKenzie Gore, his 128th strikeout in 116 plus innings.
Yeah, that was a pretty solid slider there. That's a firm slider too. Take a look at his StatCast, powered by Google Cloud. StatCast 3D, his pitch arsenal: 56% four-seam fastball, about 20% curveball. That slider you saw there, 15. Change up at 9, and a sweeper at about 2%. But that four-seam fastball upstairs could be troubles for a number of hitters in this lineup today for the Angels.
So our StatCast from Google Cloud, and here's Zach Neto. I've been looking forward to this matchup all weekend. This lefty versus this righty. In the series, Zach is 3 for 10 with a solo homer and a stolen base.
And you notice right there, Bob, not a leg kick there, because he knows he's going to deal with some high velocity here for Gore.
Such a great breakdown minutes ago by our old friend Mark DeRosa on this young shortstop. Mark played for the Nationals toward the end of his big league career. And we all knew someday he'd be either a great coach, a manager, or a very insightful broadcaster.
Yes.
2 balls, 1 strike. Angels on the road, 25-31. The Nationals at home, 28-31. And both of these ball clubs have been fairly solid in interleague play. Angels were .500 before they lost the 2 in Davey Martinez ball club, 18-19.
He's always been a big fan of Davey Martinez. He gets the most out of all his players, especially now knowing he has so many youngsters in this lineup now.
Yeah, the World Series championship, hard to believe it's been 5 years ago now, but perfect manager for a team with a lot of young developing players. And we spent some time with Wash this morning, and he's making some adjustments in his mindset over the years, dealing with young players who have to be taught certain things at the big league level. Another foul ball on 3-2 to Zach Neto.
And Neto's, he's one of those players too. He'll make contact. It's real interesting if he gets on base against Gore, because Gore is a lefty, which is surprising how susceptible he is to a stolen base. And Neto already with 21 stolen bases on the season.
And this one off to the right side from Zach Neto.
Well, you're right on cue, Bob, about all these foul balls. You're correct.
Neto is tied for 8th in the American League with his 21 steals. Only 3 Angels in the lineup today have previously faced MacKenzie Gore. The guy on deck, Kevin Pillar, Taylor Ward, and Brandon Drury right after him. 3-2. And then the bases on balls. That's number 47 by MacKenzie Gore this year. Nationals defensively, they are young in the outfield. There's Jacob Young, best center field stats of anybody in baseball. 16 runs prevented, 18 outs above average. The newest National is Jose Tena over at third base. Made his debut here yesterday.
Yeah, we were talking about Young out in the outfield yesterday in the game on the Angels broadcast. You're going to have to hit that ball about 20 rows deep in the stands for him not to catch it. I mean, his routes he takes, he plays it pretty deep outfielder. We're talking about how that little spot, he's worn out there, moving all around in center field. But he comes in on the baseball great and goes back also very effectively.
Yeah, the Nationals metrics have them playing the deepest outfield of any team in baseball. They had to replace the great arm and the reliable glove of Lane Thomas in right. Alex Call doing a good job out there. Had an assist in the ball game here on a line drive double play last night. Kevin Pillar will pop one on the right side of the infield. Juan Yepez will yield to the easier angle for Luis Garcia. Second out of the inning.
Not easy to get Pillar out when you look at his career numbers against the Nationals. He's .333 batting average. That's covered 117 at bats. Very solid here in this ballpark too. Came in at .320 with 6 home runs. So that's a big out for MacKenzie Gore.
Yeah, he's been a tormentor to the Washington Ball Club and pitching staff for many years. Here's Taylor Ward, the left fielder. And this guy's on a nice roll right now. 8 for 24 on a 6-game hitting streak. And in this series, he's 4 for 9 with a walk.
Quick conversation with Bo Porter and Zach Neto, seeing if he sees something from Gore to see if he can try to steal a base here. He has him leaning back though so far. 3 career pickoffs for Gore, but 19 stolen bases in 20 attempts this season. 30 of 35 in his career.
Yeah, it's a tremendous ratio there. 2-0. Long hold. And that's a good fastball cutting its way to the inside edge.
Usually when I think of a left-handed pitcher, when you've given up that many stolen bases, Bob, they kind of lean a little bit more towards home. And it's more of a slide step. It gives you a better chance. As soon as that movement, that front leg lifts up, you can go as a base runner. That's a pretty easy read on that one, going back to first base.
Nats have a lefty on this pitching staff who's made a living over the years of picking runners off, and that's Patrick Corbin, who failed in another bid for his 100th career win here last night. And a ball driven to right center. Alex Call over to cut it off on a hop. Neto will stop at second, and Taylor Ward has a 7-game hitting streak, and he's hitting .500 this weekend.
Yeah, the birth of his second child just the other day. We were talking around his little dad power. He's been really hot since coming back from the paternity leave.
It's been known to energize a guy if he's getting enough sleep.
Yes, going the other way on that fastball out over the plate. And this is the issue so far of the Angels in this series against the Nats. They have not swung the bat well at all with runners in scoring position.
Veteran Brandon Drury. A couple of hits and 2 RBIs. He was hitting 8th last night, sac fly, 2nd inning, 4th inning base hit. But you look at the numbers, these are not Brandon Drury-like.
I really like what Ron Washington told us earlier today. He goes, you know, don't even worry about what your numbers are right now. Worry about what your numbers are starting from yesterday, which he picked up a couple RBIs from that last night forward. That's all people are going to remember, what you did in his last, 40, 50 games of the season.
Well, bit of a sword, didn't end up taking a full swing at that. On a pitch up. MacKenzie Gore, 24th start of the year. Now, cloud cover has left us a bit, and bright sunshine here at Nationals Park. Did he go? Washington will appeal it, and John Tumpane says no at first base.
So 3-1 count. Gore, he's around 94% of the time after this one. This is pretty close. And you know me as a pitcher, Bob. Anytime you think about swinging, I'm saying he went. And that was pretty close to being a swing on that one.
3-1. And MacKenzie Gore always has the swing and miss stuff.
Well, the Angels so far in this series, about 2 for 27 with runners in scoring position. Ooh. It's what allowed the Nationals to have those comeback wins, those lack of those add-on runs, because as soon as they were close games, where the Nationals came back both times late in the game to be able to win in extra innings.
So there's the nearly 19 pitches per inning. Runners on the move, and now it's going to be another long inning for this 25-year-old lefty.
So this is when it becomes one of those things, because there's so many of these games doubleheaders, late games for the Angels. And now you got Mickey Moniak, who doesn't get a lot of at-bats against left-handed pitching.
Riley Adams handling the duties behind the plate, considered the Nationals' backup catcher to Keibert Ruiz, who Washington got better part of 3 years ago with starter Josiah Gray in the Max Scherzer Trey Turner transaction with the Dodgers. Moniak, as Gooby said, doesn't get his 3 or 4 at bats every night, but he is hitting .273 over his last 46 games. First pitch, ground ball, Luis Garcia Jr. MacKenzie Gore along first. He's out of the inning, and in a moment we'll see the Angels starter today, Jack Kochanowicz.
Have you heard? Soda's not a dirty word anymore. Introducing Poppy, the best thing to happen to lemon lime since, well, lemons and limes. It's the iconic, refreshing flavor you crave, but with 3 grams of sugar. Real lemon, real lime, real juicy flavor. The future of soda is now, and it's called Poppy. Poppy, soda's back.
There's an easier way. From fixing your cabinets to cleaning your countertops, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
With the Game Time app, I paid 60% less than this guy.
What?
And it's not just sports tickets. It's also concerts. Performances, too!
Oh, come on!
Download Game Time. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
I feel like I lose track of at least $500 a month.
Maybe that's because you still use spreadsheets. Haven't you heard of Rocket Money?
No, but you're probably going to cut me off and tell me about it.
It's an app that automatically tracks your spending in real time, lowers your bills, and finds and cancels sneaky subscriptions.
Sign me up.
Stay on track with your finances and download Rocket Money today.
Nationals have hit 96 homers, fewest in all of baseball. Luis Garcia Jr., 14 of those. He's 8th in the National League in hitting at .290 and hitting .410 lately. Folks around the country may not be that acquainted with some of these names. You'll find out about some of these young guys today. And here's Alex Call, who's 5 for 9 this weekend. And on the mound for the Angels, 23-year-old Jack Kochanowicz, and I am surrounded by pitchers from Philadelphia today.
And with silent C's in their last name, too. Power fastball sinker. It's going to be 94, 97, curveball, and changeup.
Outside edge to Alex Call, who's a ridiculous 19 for 41 in 12 games since he was recalled with 5 consecutive multi-hit games, and his second career walk-off hit here Friday night.
Finally got him to strike out last night, but that was a foul tip into the catcher's mitt. He's been really good even with 2 strikes, putting the ball in play with his speed. He's a dangerous batter.
Goes up the middle a lot. That's why Stefanik is playing almost behind the second base bag. Alex Call's been up and down with the Nats on a lot of occasions over the last few years. This is by far the hottest streak he's ever been on. Came into this year a .209 big league hitter, and there's that big breaking ball that strikes him out.
So far under control for Kochanowicz in his first 2 starts, overthrowing, and that's what's been the issue for. Take a look at our StatCast being powered by Google Cloud. And you see his sinker at 52%, curveball at 36, changeup, which is a very solid pitch for him, at 12%. But the big thing, you look where his sinker's at. It was been elevated. He needs to have that sinker working down to be effective. When you look at Soriano and Canning in this series on the mound against the Nats, a lot of ground balls. And they're aggressive, so this should help out Kochanowicz as far as being aggressive and just working down in the zone to see how many ground ball outs he can get, because he is generally a ground ball pitcher that'll get an occasional strikeout.
Yeah, both teams turning a couple of double plays here last night. Here's Garcia. He's hit safely 9 of his last 11 games. And it's kind of the state of things in the National League right now. If you hit anywhere near 300, you're in the batting race. He's at 290. There are only 4 batters in the NL at 300 or higher in this era, when batting average probably means as little as it ever did. Fortunately for Kochanowicz, the ball got there before the bat barrel went by. And there's a ground ball out for him.
See, that's that power sinker down towards the end of the bat. And Garcia's usually tries to get the barrel. He hits a lot of ground balls. And this one towards the end of the bat, exactly where you want, but good awareness too by Kochanowicz to be able to get away from that bat coming back at him. See that late movement towards the end of the bat and shatters it. Almost had a field of baseball and a bat.
Wow. Number 3 hitter, and a pretty good emerging story here in DC, Juan Yepez. It was painfully obvious to him that in St. Louis he would not be playing much first base with a guy named Paul Goldschmidt there. Ball hit hard, Stefanik to his left, and Gooby called it. Good sinker. Couple of ground ball outs in a 1-2-3 first inning.
The best feeling iron I've ever hit. Introducing the new Gen 7 irons, the greatest leap forward in irons technology, in performance, in PXG history. Our new quantum core material explodes off the face. Are you kidding me? The Gen 7 irons deliver groundbreaking new levels of forgiveness, speed, distance, and feel. That's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that trajectory. Just phenomenal. Gen 7. It doesn't get any better.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Paying down debt can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Upstart makes it fast and easy. Borrowers can access the funds they need in as little as 1 business day. Checking your rate is fast, easy, with no cost to you or your credit score. Loans start at $1,000 and go up to $50,000. Join the club of over 1.8 million customers who have turned to Upstart for a personal loan. Your financial freedom begins at upstart.com.
How you get healthcare matters. That's why millions of guys trust Hims. For mental health, ED, and hair loss, Hims can help. Through a free online intake at hims.com, you can hear back from a licensed provider in hours instead of waiting weeks. Plus, through the app, you can control your shipping, access curated content, and message your care team at any time. Premium care, ultimate value. Find your doctor-trusted treatment 100% online. Get started today at hims.com.
Basketball fans from all over the United States have won over $1 billion. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up with promo code POSTER to claim your player's special and deposit offer. Underdog Fantasy, calling all dogs.
Finished my chores. Ready for my allowance.
Greenlight is way better than how I got paid for chores. Mowing all those lawns really paid off. That was not radical.
Bring your family into the financial future.
And Rendon shoots one in the left. Way back, forget about it. It is going, and long gone.
Always going to have a lot of postseason heroes on your way to a World Series championship. Top of the second, Joe Adell against MacKenzie Gore. And let's go down to Dan with a former Nat who's still very popular here.
Thank you, Bob. Here with Anthony Rendon, who's wearing a hoodie in 90-degree temperatures. That's just like Anthony, who hasn't changed. Anthony, how's it been the last couple days being back at Nationals Park? Has it felt like a warm reception for you?
Yeah, definitely. So it's definitely awesome to see all the old faces that, around the ballpark. Obviously, some of the clubhouse staff and the few guys that are still left, and then the fans too. A lot of love here, and I'm really appreciated for it.
Pop up down the left field line, play made there, and there's one out on Joe Adell here in the top of the second. You've got some former teammates on that World Series team that are now coaches on the national staff. You got Sean Doolittle over there. You got Gerardo Parra over there. You guys are getting old, man. What's it like to see all these changes?
Don't put me in that category yet. They still have a few years on me, but it's definitely crazy and awesome to see. Like seeing former teammates, obviously, then I'm still playing and they're coaching me now. And what's crazy is even Ryan Goins, obviously, we played against each other in college and we played with each other in the fall league with Pilar also. So it's crazy how like the full circle.
When you come in here, we were talking yesterday, you're on the other side, you're looking at it from the visitors' dugout, getting the feel of the visitors' clubhouse here. Did the memories come back of all the special times that you had here, not just in 2019, but all the division titles and all the, the memories that you created?
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Definitely a little bit emotional, especially when we went upstairs and saw all the photos of, the past playoff series, playoff celebrations, and all the old guys that were on those teams. You're like, oh man, I forgot that he was there. I forgot he was there, and I forgot he was there. Definitely brings back a lot of good memories.
And you picked up 5 hits the last 2 nights overall, so apparently this ballpark still treats you pretty well.
Yeah, you can see the ball really well here. They got the good lights, and so obviously you feel comfortable here, and thankful for it.
Anthony, great to see you. Thanks for doing this.
Appreciate you. Only for you.
Thanks. Bob, back up to you.
That is so Anthony right there. Only for you.
He is.
He's the best.
Well, there's a legendary story here about a radio interview he sort of did a number of years ago. Here's Michael Stefanik, the second baseman. Radio guy approached him and said, Anthony, can I ask you 3 questions? And he said, you just used 1.
Yeah, that sounds like Anthony.
He can be abrupt. He's not comfortable with the limelight on him as a rule, and it took us a while to understand that around here. And Stefanik going the other way, fouls it away after the base hit by Matt Tice. And the Angel catcher broke up a small 0-for-7 mini slump with that knock the other way. And here's Stefanik stepping in at 316.
And lefties have had pretty good success against MacKenzie Gore. Looking at a 315 batting average with 3 home runs, which is surprising with his arsenal he goes out there with.
It absolutely is. And everybody around here would like to see him take that heater and bust lefties in a bit, maybe setting up some off-speed stuff away.
Yeah, because that does open up the outer half of the plate. If you're a left-handed batter against him, you just look out over the plate, you have a better chance to get the barrel of the baseball. Stefanik's the guy at the plate right here that makes a ton of contact. So this, going back to how many foul balls are against Gore, this could be along a bat, which it already has been. 3-2 count. There's been some traffic against him already.
29 pitches, 18 strikes, first inning. So, Mark, if you had the formula to this, you'd be a billionaire. A guy with this much stuff. How do you get guys out without these elongated at bats with all the foul balls?
We've all been there as young pitchers because, like I said, even in our pregame hit, it's sometimes you give hitters too much credit. It's the same game whether you're in the minor leagues or high school or college baseball. They're still up there trying to make good at bats against you, but your goal is to be the hardest thing in sports. Even Michael Jordan, the great Michael Jordan, has said is hitting a baseball. Deion Sanders has said the same thing. So the mindset always has to be that I'm always at the advantage when I'm on the mound, but when you try to be too fine, that's when you end up with a lot of foul balls, a lot of pitches thrown, and walks. But with his arm, MacKenzie Gore, you're talking about a guy who used to pencil in 15, 18 wins every season, and he should be around, the 180 to 200 innings pitch mark.
Well, here's another long pitch sequence, number 10 coming here. He'll get the call from Hunter Wendelstedt out around that outside edge, and Michael Stefanik is not at all happy about strikeout number 2 for the lefty.
As a hitter, you're absolutely not happy. As a pitcher, you go, okay, I'll take that. That's about 2 baseballs off the outside corner. It's an unhittable pitch. Not even with an oar can you go out and hit that one or even foul that one off.
That is a large miss.
That's a tough thing when you have a great at bat like that. You're working a walk and ends up being a called third strike. And Hunter Wendelstedt is one of those umpires that when you're pitching, you're pretty comfortable with him behind the plate because he's a guy that will give you some shadow pitches, edges, maybe even slightly off that.
Angels go 2 for 7 with a pair of walks, first time through the order. Nolan Shunawell, the first baseman, next. He struck out swinging to start the game. Hunter Wendelstedt, 27th year in the big leagues. John Tumpane, Nick Marley, first and second. And the crew chief, there he is, Marvin Hudson. In his 27th year, he's over at third.
The marvelous one, Marvin Hudson.
Runner on the move, and my goodness, what a jump. I mean, Matt Tice can walk into second base.
That's his third stolen base, and we were joking around the other day. He had 2 stolen bases and 5 RBIs. He was the first Angel to ever do that. Certainly only the second catcher in MLB history to do it.
When you think of the hitters they've had in Anaheim over the years, that's unbelievable. 2-1, and a little comebacker from MacKenzie Gore. He can underhand this one over to Juan Yepes. So it takes him some pitches, but he's put 2 zeros on the board to start. Dan Coco and Anthony Rendon, BFFs for a long time.
Logan Webb, one of the best in the National League, one of the best in the game. He just dictates the tempo and the flow of the at-bat.
Logan Webb is the ace of that staff.
There's a moxie about him with the nasty sinker, changeup, slider combo.
Very tough combination.
Strikes out swinging.
Gets you to go back to the dugout, shaking your head.
This guy is a complete pitcher. He threw 216 innings last year in this day and age, which is unheard of.
He's given them a chance to win every time he touches the ball.
The power of baseball goes beyond the field.
It starts with kindness, reaching out a helping hand. Even the smallest gestures mean the world to a lot of people.
Stand up to cancer.
Together. Together. Together.
Together.
Welcome back to MLB Sunday Leadoff on the Roku channel, presented by Lululemon. Well, here comes an interesting matchup. The youngster James Woods, been in the big leagues for just a little over a month, and he's doing big things. 4 big league homers, all of them to the opposite field. And this rocket up the middle, picked off by Zach Neto on the first pitch.
If you hit a ball like that and you hit it up the middle, even though there's supposedly no shifts being on, you got to believe that was going to be a hit. He was just on that shortstop side of the bag. You can see him there. Lines it right back up the middle. Nice play on that one. But I've been impressed by Wood. He makes contact on everything. He doesn't chase. For a young hitter not to chase. He's one of the best as far as not chasing out of the zone. It's been incredibly impressive.
Yeah, already has 17 big league walks. Typical night last night. Homer left center, double right center. Each driving in a run. Here's Jose Tena, who made his Nationals debut yesterday. The Rochester Ball Club was in Buffalo, and he gets a walk-off hit.
Yeah, that was a pretty good debut with the Nationals. But going back to Wood again, just seeing what he can do. Eventually, he's going to have pull power. So he's letting the baseball travel a little bit. He's, mentioned he doesn't chase, but eventually he will on the inside part of the plate. That's when he'll start driving at the right.
2-0 to Tena. And he will hit this ball the other way. The walk-off hit last night was off the wall of the Angels bullpen in left center to win it after that leadoff runner. Jacob Young started at second base. We'll have another look. Watch this stroke going the other way.
I mean, he was trying, you could tell what Tena was trying to do. He was trying to get a ball and hit it in the air with the infield in and game on the line. That'd be the longest single he'll ever hit in the major leagues.
Yeah. I haven't looked at the box score. I gave him a double because he kept going and stepped on second base. But we'll have to check on that. Usually guys round first, they know it's over and they celebrate.
So far for Kochanowicz, he's thrown a lot of strikes, especially getting through the first inning, which he allowed 7 runs, 7 earned runs in 2 starts.
Oh, we have confirmation that he touched second base. Well done, crew.
He had to run away from all the bubble gum. He could have sent some up to us up here. I would have had some.
That ball well inside to Travis Blankenhorn. Big strong bat. The Nats called up from AAA last week. 3 for 24 so far, but 4 runs batted in. He led the organization with 47 extra base hits before his recall to the big leagues. And I'll tell you right now, Jack Kochanowicz on a big time roll. 8 pitches first inning, and now another 1, 2, 3.
Long before Aaron in Atlanta, before Jackie stole home, there was Satchel, Cool Papa, and Willie at Rickwood Field. Baseball returns to its Negro League roots in the oldest professional ballpark in America, Thursday on MLB Network.
The power of baseball goes beyond the field.
It starts with kindness, reaching out a helping hand. Even the smallest gestures mean the world to a lot of people.
Stand up to cancer.
Together. Together. Together.
Together.
You know who's hot right now? Your guy C.J. Abrams.
The Nationals all-star candidate at shortstop.
C.J. later.
I love watching the guys that are just continue to get better and better. He's getting it going.
I've always loved C.J. Abrams. He is a complete hitter.
Just getting better any way I can.
As soon as he went to the leadoff spot, that's when the national season changed.
Welcome to the C.J. Show.
I want to get to the next base. Every time. Every time.
Gone, goodbye.
This guy is just starting to scratch the surface of what he can be.
MLB's Sunday Leadoff on the Roku channel is presented by Lululemon. That's way out there on L Street in left center field. Some gigantic baseballs. When Ron Washington was hitting against Mark Gubicza many years ago, that ball looked that big. Hey, Wash, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
We appreciate your time this morning when we got together, and we kind of drew a parallel.
Yes.
Between the team on the first base side and your ball club. A lot of young players and a lot of teaching going on.
You know, that's what the game is about today. They come into the big leagues so quick and so fast that we have to make certain that we stay on top of them with the little bitty things about the game. It's not so much the big things, because they do have the talent and they have the skill set. It's just that the knowledge of the game is lacking.
Yeah, Wash, we were talking about even there earlier today. You've got traffic already in today's game, and you have guys in scoring position, and it's been a struggle here in Washington, not like it was up in New York. What do you think has been the issue for you guys with guys on base?
Well, you know, the thing is, we have that up and down situation. When we swing in the bat well, everyone is. When we're not swinging the bat well, everyone is also not swinging the bat well. But, you know, the thing about traffic, just got to keep getting it out there, and someone will come through.
Ron Washington with us, signed his first contract back in 1970 as an amateur free agent with the Kansas City Royals. So we've got a KC connection between the skipper and my partner today, and Kevin Pillar, veteran and Wash, the kind of guy you have to have on your ball club.
Well, there's no doubt about it. He brings a lot of energy, and he brings a lot of professionalism. And once we can get those type of things to become cohesive, then I think we'll be moving in the right direction.
And by the way, we miss you in the National League all those years with the Braves. We know you are obsessed and dedicated to the defensive side of the ball. We see you working with guys all the time, and maybe we have to continue this a little later.
Well, you know, defense and pitching should show up every day. And if you can pitch well and you can catch the ball well, that means you got a chance in the ball game. So those two things should never take a slump. You hope You know, I think sometimes when pitchers start to wear down a little bit, you may not get the same results, but defense, it got to show up every single day.
Thanks for your time, sir. And a double play turn to keeping our conversation short in this scoreless game in Washington, D.C.
The National League Rookie of the Year is Corbin Carroll.
This dude is an absolute beast.
He's got every tool. He's got the power tool.
Carroll has hit another one.
Runs like the wind.
There goes Corbin. Go, Corbin, go.
He plays D.
He's got his signature play, that sliding grab.
Pound for pound, maybe the strongest player in the league.
It's been an incredible ride.
Since its inception, the Boys and Girls Clubs have been more than a fun place for kids to go after school. For some, it's been a second home, where they can learn, play, and grow. Thanks to the partnership between Major League Baseball and Boys and Girls Clubs, children of all backgrounds have access to safe spaces. All right, let's go take a selfie. MLB Together and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, empowering children and building futures. Bring it in.
Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, and Jim Leland each had their own journey, but now their paths converge in Cooperstown, New York. The 2024 Hall of Fame induction ceremony, Sunday, July 21st on MLB Network.
You are watching the Angels versus the Nationals on the Roku channel, presented by Lululemon. Bottom of the third, bottom three in the Washington order. There's the center fielder, Jacob Young.
So far, Kochanowicz really impressive, attacking the strike zone. He starts on the first base side of the pitching rubber. Reason why a lot of times you do that, be able to get inside on left-handed batters, but still be able to fade and run that sinker in on righties too.
Yeah, there's that big breaking ball down and away to Young, who is 25 years old, just had a birthday at the end of July. And right now, metrics, numbers, analytics, whatever you want to call it, he's playing the best center field in the major leagues.
And a great throwing arm too, besides covering on that ground.
5 assists. 0-2.
Well, both his teams have great outfielders, and Mickey Moniak's a guy that's brought back about 4 would-be home runs over the last 2 seasons. His defensive metrics solid too, and a good throwing arm. So it's fun when you have athletic, dominant defenders out in center field, especially when you're on the pitching side.
And of course, Logan O'Hoppe not in the lineup today after catching 2 games for the Angels. But talking about strength up the middle, him, Neto, and then out to Moniak when he's in the lineup.
Yeah, that's how you build a core team, and that's how, when you look at teams that are successful for years and years, it's always strong up the middle.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Pretty good take by the youngster on a fastball over but low. Young has prevented 16 runs this year and made 18 outs above average. Most of those figures at the very top in the big leagues. 247 hitter. He's been up as high as the high 250s this year, but he was called up last year and immediately opened some eyes around here with that defense.
Yeah, this is a guy you want to keep off base if you're Kochanowicz, because that speed he has. He had an 0-2 and just trying to be too perfect the next 3 pitches. That's a good nasty fastball again. He's got some great movement working today. When he's under control, this is the kind of electric fastball we anticipated when he first made the jump from Double-A to the big leagues for the Angels. And that's something the Angels have done quite a bit as far as guys jumping from Double-A, including, we were talking about Zach Neto, Kochanowicz. So many players have made that quick jump because they've shown that they have the capabilities of being a solid major league player.
Number 8 hitter, the catcher Riley Adams, and up the middle Neto to his left, and he guns him out in plenty of time. We've got 8 up and 8 down here Sunday morning.
And that's the play that Ron Washington has worked so hard with Zach Neto, going to the glove side, keeping the glove down, and still would be under control and make a firm throw over the first base. The backhand, he was always good. It was the forehand, the glove side, working hard and coming in on the baseball. Those two are working together along with Ryan Goings every single morning, every day before games. Their relationship is something that really we should keep an eye on during the course of the game because it's fun to watch.
Number 9 hitter, Nasim Nunez, a Rule 5 guy who's been on the roster all year. And he's starting a couple of games in a row because C.J. Abrams has had some low back spasms the last few days. Nunez has had an interesting series. A hit and 4 at-bats, 3 sacrifice bunts. And he's an outstanding defensive shortstop. 2-0. But here he is playing in his 30th game. He's only had 19 official at-bats, and there's the Nationals leader in home runs and RBIs, C.J. Abrams, part of the San Diego Soto deal. And it's Chopper straight back.
I was really looking forward to seeing C.J. Abrams play. I mean, I've seen him on TV, but a lot of times when you get a chance to see him in person, you can see how good he is at such a young age, defensively, running the bases, his power, his energy he brings to your team.
Yeah, speaking of energy, that's the veteran Ildemaro Vargas on the left there. He keeps everybody going in that dugout. And a tapper by the mound. It's going to hit the side, and Nunez can fly.
So another soft contact off the bat against Kochanowicz. There's nothing you can do. The only chance you have is if Drury's able to cut that off. Tremendous speed, stolen base threat. Gets it by Kochanowicz, who's been throwing the ball exceptionally well. He's already had 4 ground ball outs. That one unable to get it out with, but soft contact off the end of the bat. Now here's a scenario here with Theis. Behind the plate, has thrown out 2 base stealers in 16 attempts.
Alex Cole trying to serve it the other way.
Got to believe he's going to take a shot at trying to steal a base here, especially with the movement that Kochanowicz has on his fastball.
28 to 29 feet per second there. That's only his 20th at bat of the year, and he has 5 hits. And by the way, he's 4 for 6 stealing. Little calling card toss by Kochanowicz. What makes Theis so quick behind the plate?
Well, I mean, he was drafted out of Virginia as a catcher, but immediately went and played either third base or first base. In his first start back in the catching position, he caught a shutout. So he's done a nice job as far as working with Jerry Nairn, their great catching instructor, as far as being quicker on the transfer and his pop time.
Yeah, we know all about that UVA baseball program up here. Mr. National Ryan Zimmerman came out of Virginia, played a couple of months in the minor leagues, and was in the big leagues by the end of that year back in '05. Nunez on the move, and so's Alex Call. Theis is going to pop out and throw him out.
Nice play by Matt Theis, get out of that catching position to make that play. Another softly hit ground ball against Kochanowicz has been great so far.
Yeah, 1 infield hit in 3 innings. He is dealing on the road today.
Long before Aaron in Atlanta, before Jackie stole home, there was Satchel, Cool Papa, and Willie at Rickwood Field. Baseball returns to its Negro League roots in the oldest professional ballpark in America. Thursday on MLB Network.
Since its inception, the Boys and Girls Clubs have been more than a fun place for kids to go after school. For some, it's been a second home, where they can learn, play, and grow. Thanks to the partnership between Major League Baseball and Boys and Girls Clubs, children of all backgrounds have access to safe spaces.
All right, let's go. Take a selfie.
MLB Together and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, empowering children and building futures. Bring it in.
All rise. Here comes the judge.
Judge is in a league of his own.
Aaron Judge is a special talent, man. I look at him like the best hitter in this generation.
And that one is gone!
See ya! You
come up here and you want to make a great impression, hit every single at bat, really help the team.
Amazing performance by Judge.
He is everything that is good about the game of baseball.
Welcome back to Sunday morning broadcast on Roku channel here with Davey Martinez. Davey, MacKenzie Gore, a big 5-pitch third inning to help him kind of get that pitch count back in control. How does he try and replicate that success going forward in terms of being more efficient?
Yeah, honestly, it's just about him pounding that strike zone, getting ahead. When he's ahead, he's really good. So we got to get him to understand that, hey, strike one is really important to him.
You trade away a few pieces at the trade deadline. Yet you still have a chance at a 6-4 homestand today, even after that deadline. What do you like about the way that your ball club is continuing to battle, even when you got a lot of young guys here?
Yeah, you know what? They play hard for 27 outs, and that's our motto. Just go out there, play hard. You know, my coaching staff's been really good with them. Just trying to teach them how to play the game.
Thank you, Skip.
All right, buddy.
Bob?
Well, Dan, everybody around here knows that when the Nationals started 2019, 19-31, everything going wrong. A lot of late blown leads. Sean Doolittle's left arm was about to fall off. Davey's mantra was, let's go 1-0 today.
Yeah.
They ended up that season with 93 wins. It was incredible.
And then come back and beat the Dodgers and the Astros, too, when you think about it, during that postseason run. When you listen to Davey and you listen to Ron Washington, I mean, they're almost exactly the same. It's about the teaching of these young players, get them to play the game and think about wins, not numbers, but wins as a team.
Well, and it's a sign of the times. Mark, your first year in the big leagues was 1984. Guys like Sparky Anderson, Whitey Herzog, other old school guys were all managing at that time. The job of a manager has changed so dramatically at the major league level over these last decades.
Yeah, because you know before you had some veterans around there who were actually helping whenever there is some young players out there, but now as a manager, you and your entire coaching staff is spending the entire day working with your entire lineup, both in the everyday players, bench players, and down in your bullpen and your starting staff.
And right now the Angels, of course, having to make some serious adjustments when it comes to the bullpen. Carlos Estevez to the Phillies, Luis Garcia to the Red Sox. At the deadline, some open jobs out there. And now from MacKenzie Gore's standpoint, this is kind of how things roll for him. 5-pitch inning, as Dan mentioned. Then he walks the leadoff guy. And now Mickey Moniak in a lefty-lefty matchup will single to right field.
And a base hit against a lefty. That's impressive. This is going to be a close play with that arm for call.
So if what you told me earlier was true, I have no reason to believe it's not. He's now 3 for 23 against lefties.
Yes, and you know the thing is, even though he has struggled against lefties, you have a lefty pitcher that has struggled against left-handed batters. And part of it, you see, you're able to get your arms extended, get the barrel of the bat against a left-handed pitcher. That's what you want to see for Moniak on that one. But on Gore's side, you got to make a left-handed batter uncomfortable in the batter's box, and that means you got to show something at least inside, and then you got to change speeds a little bit because everything's firm. It allows you to stay on the baseball with your timing.
Down to third, booted by Tana. It looked like Brandon Drury was going to go back to the bag after his leadoff. So that not only allows him to score, but it'll be Tana's second error of the year, his first as a Nat.
That looked like an opportunity of a possible double play ball and keeping, like you mentioned, Bob, Drury at third base with a chance to get through with no damage. Now you get a run scored and still you don't get any outs on this one.
Looks like
I think he got hit on that one right on the hand.
Yeah, bloody thumb.
Because he tried to keep both hands there to keep that ball off the bat of Joe Adell. And Joe Dell generally hits the ball really hard, although it's still pretty firm off the bat at 97.5 miles per hour. You see he was already looking to turn a double play, and he's got his thumb in the glove, and that's what the baseball hit and skipped away from him.
Angels now, big inning potential here in the fourth. And the way Kochanowicz is pitching, they could be well on their way to a salvage operation here in the final game of this series. E5 all the way.
With Kochanowicz here, he lives up in the Philadelphia area, so you know he's got quite a few family and friends down here in D.C. to made the travels down when he got an opportunity to be the starter. He was down the bullpen last night just in case he would be used. Now an opportunity to start here today, and he's got a little bit of support now with that run scored. And Tanao, who's played so well yesterday, the entire defense in the series for the Nats has been very good.
Well, he's coming off the field. And everybody in this ballpark rooting for the home team knows who's going to replace him. It'll be the ultra versatile Ildemaro Vargas. Nats sent Trey Lipscomb back to AAA this weekend because they just haven't had much offense at all from the third base position. They had hoped that Nick Senzel would fulfill that, signed to a free agent contract during the offseason. Didn't work out. Lipscomb for a while, who's a very good defender. And now Vargas will take over there at third base. Switch hitter, team leader, reliable defender at many different positions.
Interesting spot now for the Angels and Ron Washington. We get Theis, left-handed hitter, although he got a base hit last at bat against Gore. Ron Washington's one of those guys that has trust in everybody as far as being able to get a bunt down. And you get Stefanik batting behind him, a contact hitter. Curious to see what the Angels are thinking. Vargas is playing in a little bit, thinking maybe there is a bunt on.
Theis, base hit right field first time.
he was thinking 3-run home run instead.
He was trying to make it 4-0. Yes, sir. He's hit one this year with 13 RBIs in 34 ball games.
Picked up a stolen base again too today. Third stolen base.
Jersey guy out of Jackson, New Jersey.
I say it quietly down here. He's a New York Giant fan, though. I'll say it quietly.
You might get more dirty looks if you said Dallas Cowboys.
Or how about the Philadelphia Eagles?
There you go. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So this is a big inning scenario for the Angels against MacKenzie Gore. Leadoff walk always seems to come back and bite you as a pitcher. He's already scored the leadoff walk, and that's Brandon Drury. Already 2 walks in the game for Drury.
It was close. No swing, says Marvin Hudson.
Now this is a big pitch already for Gore and the Nationals. Potentially loading the bases here with no outs. And also a pitch right now that Theis can lift in the air. And that's a pretty good pitch.
Pretty good pitch and no swing, and they are loaded for the second time. 4 walks in the game by MacKenzie Gore.
Yeah, you were telling me, Bob, before the game, you love his stuff. It's special, but that walk is part of his game after a quick third inning in which he threw 5 pitches. Now all of a sudden 2 walks in the inning.
Yeah, coming into the ball game is 128 strikeouts, about 5 or 6 out of the top 10 in the National League. But when you have that many strikeouts, it's about a 2.5 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio. So that's too many free passes. Michael Stefanik will be the Angels hitter here at the bottom of the order. So the double play in the third. So pitches thrown, but what you don't see there is Kyle Finnegan, 57 pitches on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah,
it's been crazy. There you see it, 57 with a 3.49 ERA. And he and some of his buddies at the back end of the bullpen did get to sit yesterday. There's a double play ball for Nunez. He'll get the 6-3. Moniak will score. The Angels go up by a couple, and the Nationals would be happy if this 4th inning ended with that same score.
Yeah, that was a big pitch for him with Stefanik, is a guy that hits a lot of baseballs on the ground. Although you look at Gore's ground ball rate, he's just under 37%. But then I look down, he's got 13 double plays to her now, make it 14. He ran that fastball in. That was a perfect pitch. Stefanik's trying to get that ball in the air. It's tough to be able to get the barrel to it. That was towards the handle, the trademark of that bat.
Second double play of the day. The Nats are 4th in the National League now, 111 double plays. It's not a stat you always want to lead the league in because it means so much traffic against your pitching staff. But some reliable gloves and arms out there, and here we go back up.
It's like one of those stats for all the hockey fans out there to lead the team in block shots. So that means the other team has the puck a lot.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a good stat, but it's something you could spin pretty well. Same thing with double plays.
Nolan Kochanowicz at the top of the order. Joe Adell ending up at 3rd on that play. And Gore trying to go to work and just missing. He has had some borderline misses here in this inning. It's not like he's all over the place.
I'm thinking right now, even though it's a 3-0 count, lefty versus lefty, Ron Washington has a lot of faith in Kochanowicz' ability to control a strike zone. He's got 49 walks. He might be swinging.
Up and in. 3 walks in the inning, 5 in the game already.
It's the 50th walk this season for Nolan Kochanowicz. Real good idea of the strike zone has since way back in the day. That's why he made that quick jump. There's so few games in the minor leagues to the big leagues last year. The Angels have been a team that if you get drafted, there's a good chance you might see you right away.
Yeah, so what's the deal with this Double-A thing? Does nobody want to be a Rocket City trash panda that long? They'd rather be an Angel?
Yeah, they want to make sure they start their career in Double-A because you can make that jump. Christian Moore right now is their #1 draft pick, and he's only played, I think, 9 games. He's already had 6 home runs in the minor leagues. We may see him with the Angels coming up, but just in a few days. Well,
Rocket City Trash Pandas in Madison, Alabama, just outside Huntsville, which is Rocket City, of course. So here's Zach Neto, 3rd AB, a walk and a fly ball to right.
Yeah, Kochanowicz was there himself. He's already pitching well here today. Well, he's really just, you can tell by his aim in the baseball. Even the velocity on there is at 93. You're used to seeing 96. When you aim the baseball, you're almost like you're trying to go up there and just try to be perfect. You just got to rear back and trust to hit the catcher's mitt. Like that was a perfect pitch, 3-0. It's one of those things too. You're sitting on the bench, you're Davey Martinez. You go, why wouldn't you try that pitch again? Just be free and easy with your delivery. Now, if you're Zach Neto, you're in a spot right now. You could center in on a fastball and see how much damage you can do.
3-1, and another miss upstairs. When does a pitcher ever have 6 walks in under 4 innings of work, but he's only 2 runs behind and 1 pitch away from being out of this inning? Kevin Pillar will be the 8th Angel to bat here in the 4th.
He's struggling to throw strikes really since you go back to since June. Early part of the season was pretty solid, but he always has that ability to get through an innings. And you mentioned that, how do you walk all those guys? But his stuff is so good you get through an inning, but you got to be able to throw strikes.
First pitch breaking ball missing to the veteran Pillar, one of the busiest Nationals pitchers this year. Right-hander Jacob Barnes.
Both these teams' bullpens are taxed with all those rain delays over the last few days.
Pillar, 280-ish since coming to the Angels from Detroit. And that's one of the few times you'll see the veteran leave the strike zone and end up behind in the count.
He's had so many clutch hits since putting on his Angels uniform. A leader. Ron Washington talked a little bit about that when we talked to him earlier, but a lot of the young players just gravitate towards Pillar. A 10-year veteran now.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And he's going to fight one off, and that's going to double the Angels' lead. Wood down in the corner, a 3rd runner coming around. A bullet home, the call is safe, and Pillar is going to end up standing at 3rd, having put his team up 5-0.
Boy, all those numbers in his career versus the Nationals coming through again, even with 2 strikes there. And that was a great slide by Zach Neto to avoid that tag by Abrams at the plate. That was a really nice job as far as the relay to Wood getting in as quick as possible, but a perfect slide, and Pilar doing it again. It's now 40 RBIs this season for a guy that was released earlier this season by the Sox.
Yep, Chicago, not Detroit. Down and in to Taylor Ward, the 9th batter.
There's a lot of pitches thrown in this inning, too. This quite possibly could be his last batter. Either way.
Could be. Mike Rizzo put up a sign in spring training near where the pitchers work that said, "I don't care how hard you throw ball 4." Trying to get the message across to his guys to throw strikes and not be too hung up on velocity and trying to miss bats.
Well, Bob, I think in defense of a lot of pitchers now, they're being graded on how many swing and misses you have. And that's the thing it's tough for, is you try to teach young pitchers that outs, even one pitch contact outs, are okay.
Well, we saw that from the Angels starter last night. Griffin Canning, 7 innings. The Nats did get to him to tie things up in his last frame. Did not walk a batter, did not strike out a batter, and got 7 innings in under 90 pitches.
Yeah, he got a lot of ground balls, both between him and Soriano the day before. Ground balls. So far, Kochanowicz is getting a lot of ground balls.
Yeah, he had 9, make it 12 ground ball outs in that 7-inning outing last night.
And he's not generally a real big ground ball guy. He's about 40% ground ball rate, but he had that working, and that's why you're able to go 7 innings.
Breaking ball out to short. Nunez to an E. So in the inning, 4 walks, a miscue at third, and the Angels going to put 3 unearned runs on the board to take a 5-run lead.
Still Snoop Dogg and D.I. Guess who's back?
With Home Chef, home cooking is so simple, you go from step 1 to done with practically no effort at all. Our convenient and delicious oven-ready meals arrive with already pre-portioned, fresh ingredients, which means easy prep and no cleanup. With our oven-ready tin, just cook and enjoy. Delicious, meet simple. Get 18 free meals plus free shipping today at homechef.com.
Ooh, that's a lovely view.
Huh? What are you two looking at?
Tip pick.
What did you say?
Tip pick. Tickets to the show with no hidden fees.
The salty air, the golden light, reflections of who you were, who you are, and who you're becoming. Luxury meets performance. Peter Millar.
How many pairs of Tecovas boots is too many pairs? Not sure. How much fun is too much fun? Find your next pair or 2 at Tecovas.
Long before Aaron in Atlanta, before Jackie stole home, there was Satchel, Cool Papa, and Willie at Rickwood Field. Baseball returns to its Negro League roots in the oldest professional ballpark in America, Thursday on MLB Network.
Mr. Gubaza goes to Washington. One of those, Mark, on the heels of your 85 World Series victory.
Yeah, you can see me looking like, I can't believe I'm sitting real close by President Reagan. A chance to shake hands with President Bush. And also one time we were opening up the season in Baltimore, I got a chance to shake hands with President Clinton, and he goes, "Hey, Gooby, you got a good slider." I almost died. I said, "How would you know I could throw a slider?" And he was saying, "Oh, yeah, especially when you get the 2 strikes. I couldn't even breathe."
Well, somebody did his homework. And there's Luis Garcia sneaking one inside the third base bag. And he will get into second base here with his 20th double of the year to go with a triple and 14 home runs. And I grew up in St. Louis. You guys broke my heart in 1985 with that World Series win. But for you and Brett Saberhagen, George Brett finally rewarded for everything he went through over the years. What's it like to be a World Series champion? And that was your in-state rival.
Yeah, I mean, second year, it's very similar to what you're seeing with both these clubs. We had a young core of players, but we had a bunch of veterans like Frank White, George Brett, Lee Wilson to be around to be able to guide us in the right direction. Dennis Leonard, as far as the pitching staff, and Dan Quisenberry. When you look at that rotation with Saberhagen, myself, Danny Jackson, Bud Black was our veteran, and he really didn't have a whole lot of experience himself. So we had some young players, and you learn from veterans, and that's how you become good.
Yeah, you guys had some kind of talent come through that organization for so many years. And of course, late 70s into the 80s, the Yankees were the nemesis of the Royals in postseason. And George finally hit that home run at Yankee Stadium, and they broke through only to run into the 1980 Phillies.
I happened to be there in Philadelphia rooting against George Brett. A few years later, I'm rooming with George Brett after saying some not so kind things about him in the stands.
Well, that's baseball, man. You got to root for your team. Now, Kochanowicz gives up the double, which was not hard hit, but he's gone 3-0 on Juan Yepez.
Yeah, that's the one thing you don't want to have escalate here for if you're Kochanowicz there. You get a 5-0 lead. You want that zero, that shutdown inning is so important. And when you've seen so far against the Nationals, you better put up a shutdown inning because they've come back in the first two games to eventually walk it off in the 10th inning.
Washington has 54 wins this year. 31 of them are come from behind. Tells you something about the manager and the young ball club that takes on his personality in situations like that. A long climb here, but there's a long way to go in this game. 3-1. Long hold, and Yepez will skip back from a rather easy take.
I was wondering if Ron Washington, and we talked about Ron Washington earlier today about how he has that conversations. You don't see a manager go out and talk to a pitcher all that often, but he's going out there right now. I can almost tell you exactly what he's going to say. We just gave you a 5-run lead. Don't try to be perfect. Just keep the ball on the ground. Garcia hit a pretty good pitch. It just went right down the line. Yep. Sometimes you just got to give the hitter credit. And with a ground ball and a sinking machine that you are, you can get 2 outs right away with one pitch.
All right, James Wood on deck. Dan Coco knows the way this guy's been going. Washington could be back in this game in a minute.
No doubt Bobby's been squaring up baseballs left and right. There's a guy on his team that knows a little bit about what James is going through right now as a 21-year-old acclimating to the big league level, and that's his normal everyday shortstop, CJ Abrams. I asked CJ the other day what has stood out to James Wood from CJ's perspective through James's first 6 weeks as a big leaguer, and he's kind of stood back and said the rate that he barrels baseballs is unbelievable. How hard he hits the baseball, and even when it doesn't find the barrel, CJ says I look up at the Jumbotron and it's still north of 100 miles an hour on the exit velocities. He's amazed at how hard James hits the baseball. And Bob, the last 4 times that James has put a ball in play dating back to last night, 102, 102, 101, and that one earlier today, 110 off his bat. This guy triple digits with regularity.
25 batted balls already, 105 miles an hour or more, and he's only had 14 hits on those.
And he's 21 years old. It's incredible. I mean, his controlling of the strike zone, that allows you to have that exit velocity. He took that nasty one right there. That's a nasty sinker. If he swings at that, there's a good chance he's hitting that ball on the ground.
1-1, and he'll just kind of let that one go by, calmly taking it. So since July 1st, he's right up there with the big boppers in the National League. Matt Chapman, Shohei Ohtani, and Jake Berger down there in Miami who can rake.
Well, this is already a big moment for Kochanowicz. He's trying to put himself in position to get deep in this game with the bullpen being taxed. A good arm was dominant for the first 3 innings. Trust your movement, trust down, trust the ground ball. If he hits it hard enough with his speed, you still would have a chance at a double play. You got to go out and attack the strike zone here.
Bouncing ball. Angels couldn't ask for anything more. But Wood, with that tremendous foot per stride rate, manages to get down to first base too.
I have no idea how he beat that out. That is elite speed going down the line.
I mean, that's a rally killer, and he just killed it.
It's exactly what you want as far as that ground ball. He challenged him in a 3-1 count. Neto's got a great arm, but he still beats that out. That's how fast he is. That is incredible speed. And those strides, amazing.
He had a base hit here Friday night, leading off the 4th inning. Anthony Rendon was playing way off the bag out near shortstop, and Wood basically hit him a 2-hopper. Rendon took 1 extra crow hop, and James Wood was safe at first. Here's the first at bat for the veteran Ildemaro Vargas. This guy's been Davey Martinez's secret weapon off the bench, hitting around 260 right now, 23 RBIs. That's a good fastball that handcuffed him.
You see that movement he has, Bob Brady, that late movement at the strike zone. That was a big pitch he made to Wood to get that ground ball. Nearly got a double play. Still has that opportunity to get through this inning with a double play ball.
And Vargas jam fouls it. Because of the young nature of this ball club and some of the non-production from a power standpoint, Vargas gets more at bats than your average utility guy. 220 ABs prior to this one.
It's going right after him with that power sinker. Since that conversation with Ron Washington, remember he was telling us in our meeting today, he goes, sometimes it's all right to give up 1 run. You just don't want to give up multiple runs. So you want to think outs any way you can get them. And that's what he's trying to do right here. As much as you love a strikeout, he'll take a ground ball and an infielder.
1-2 with 1 out. And that one hooking well foul.
He sped up his bat there with a curveball and was out in front. Imagine he goes right back to that power sinker going away. And if you're Brandon Drury, you got a lot of ground to cover on that left side of the infield. How do you foul that ball off at 96 after seeing a lot of pitches down? He's a good contact guy.
Not sure how he got to that. Well, the Nationals know they got to put the ball in play. They're not a power team. Way inside. Sometimes you'll hear hitters make a sound like he just did, thinking they're about to be hit.
I hate to be that guy, Bob, but I didn't mind hearing that sound if I was going.
Of course you didn't.
I hate to be that.
That means you're doing your job by pitching inside. 2-2 now. And Vargas to the right side. Couple of long throws here, and the Angels will turn the double play to end the 4th inning.
That was an impressive double play. Nice feed by Stefanik. I mentioned Zach Neto's arm. That's a 3rd double play turn behind Kochanowicz. What a learning and growing experience for the youngster getting through that inning with no damage.
You want to take a shot at the next level? Well, this is it. What you've been waiting for. All that work, the sweat, the sacrifice. It's not a question of can you do it, but can you do it when all eyes are on you? The greats know when it's time to shine. And your time is now.
That's the showcase, baby. Let's go.
It's the perfect game showcase, where legends rise.
Listen, I might not be a relationship expert, but I do have some hacks. They say, Lauren, what's the secret to a long, sustained relationship?
It's Blue Chew.
Blue Chews.
Blue Chew? Blue Chew.
Blue Chew.
Blue Chew.
Blue Chew.
Blue Chew, baby!
Blue Chew is an online subscription-based service that sends these affordable tablets directly to your home. No one even has to know. Except for me. But I'm not going to tell on you.
Olivia Dunn, All-American gymnast and Viore athlete. When you travel and train as much as I do, you find happiness where you are. On the mat or on the sand, movement and comfort are essential. That's why I live in Performance Jogger by Viore. Made from dream knit fabric that's made of 89% recycled materials, effortlessly soft and made to move as much as I do. My happiness starts here, in the softest joggers on the planet.
When we started Warby Parker, we just sold glasses, and only online. But people liked them a lot. So we offered more things, like sunglasses and contacts. And then we thought, what if we sold eyewear online and in stores? So we did that. And now we have stores in neighborhoods all over. There you can chat with friendly opticians and get eye exams from top-notch doctors. Now, no matter where you go, we've got your eyes covered.
MLB Sunday leadoff on the Roku channel is presented by Lululemon.
By the way, big fan of Lululemon, by the way. Big fan.
I could tell when you walked in the booth today. Nationals Park seats 41,373, opened in 2008. And Mr. National, Ryan Zimmerman, hit a walk-off homer against the Atlanta Braves to christen the new yard.
Well, what a player he was.
Even better person. We go top 5, and now it's Jacob Barnes out of the Washington bullpen, and he gets a called strike on Brandon Drury, who MacKenzie Gore walked twice.
Yes, he had some pretty good at-bats. Now starting to see the ball. Wash was talking about him today about the last 2 games, seeing the baseball well, trying to lift the ball more so in the air. Barnes fastball, 94, 98. There was a cutter, a lot of them, and a slider.
And I think our conversation with Wash this morning indicates why some guys can manage at the big league level and some can't, because it's been often said that if you were a great player or a great hitter, you don't understand the struggles that some guys go through at the big league level. And this year is exactly that for Drury, but Ron Washington has urged him on, because he knows things can turn around here in the last 7 weeks or so.
Well, that's a great point. And sometimes when you're a great player, whether in all sports, it seems like it comes easy for you. But the ones that had struggled, you know exactly how to communicate with players. That there's some ups and downs in the last 2 years. Last year he had 59 extra base hits for Drury. This season he has a combined 6.
This one out to center for Jacob Young. Catch the ball right at the front of that bare spot that he wears out.
Yeah, he's always on the move. I was joking around the last 2 days. I said the key is never hit a ball anywhere near him.
Well, Dan, you were with Gooby and I for that Ron Washington meeting this morning. What did you take out of that?
Well, Bob, I asked him during that conversation how it's been for him returning to the managerial role. His last time that he was in the manager's chair was back in 2014, his final year with the Rangers. So it's been a decade for him. And obviously he's been very active in the game as a coach with the Braves for a number of years, but now back given a managerial opportunity with the Angels. And he said it's been very satisfying. He said this game is going in a different direction lately. A lot more young players up here at the major league level. And he said we need people to tend to the game, to make sure that it's still going in the right direction in terms of veteran guys in the clubhouse that are helping young players learn that it's about winning. It's not about individual statistics. It's about moving base runners. It's about team baseball. Those are the things that matter in this game. And, you know, you guys have been around the game a long time, just like Wash has. And it might be a little different now. Guys are maybe a little focused on the clips that are going to get them on social media or things like that. But Wash says it's been great being back in this role. He feels like he has an active, you know, kind of hands-on position now where he can help some of these young guys, teach them the way to play the game at the highest level.
Yeah, Dan, that's a great point too. That's why you're seeing the Angels bring guys up from the minor leagues so quickly, even from Double-A, because Ron Washington and the entire coaching staff, they feel they can be the guy, the teacher, to make them better, even at the major league level, even though you always think you should get a number of at-bats in the minor leagues. But with this kind of coaching staff that the Angels have, they feel they can really be hands-on with everybody, whether they're infielders or outfielders, even with the pitching staff. That's why it's important to have Ron Washington and the guys he's comfortable in his entire staff.
And some guys so well known. Eric Young Sr., the third base coach. Guy who worked here in Washington for a while, Bo Porter, who was also, I might add, a studio broadcast partner of our reporter today, Dan Coco. Bo, one of those guys who can communicate with the uniform on or with a coat and tie. 1-on-1 out for Joe Adell. Barnes ahead of him.
By the way, Mickey Moniak coming into the game today facing a lefty and MacKenzie Gore, base hit now and another hit. He's starting to get that batting average up well above 220 now, which when you think about where he was in the beginning part of the season is pretty solid. He's up to 224 with his second hit of the game.
Yeah, and over his last 47 ball games now, hitting well over 280. Runner started, then stopped. Maybe he should have kept on going. 5, 4, 3, Vargas, Garcia, Yepes. Interesting that a ball club that has turned 3 double plays is down by 5 runs halfway through a game when they're trying to sweep a series.
Don't let a clogged gutter rain on your parade. Protect your home with Leaf Guard, the only one-piece seamless gutter system guaranteed to never clog, no matter the weather. Never clean your gutters again with Leaf Guard. Leaf Guard's patented seamless design keeps leaves, pests, and sediment out while directing water away from your home, preventing wood rot and foundation decay, giving you peace of mind that your home and family are protected from water damage with the industry's premier maintenance-free gutter system. Leaf Guard is the smartest solution in gutter protection, proudly protecting your home by getting it right the first time for a lifetime. From manufacturing to installation, Leaf Guard handles the entire process from start to finish. Invest in your home with a company you can trust. Call 888-6-LEAF-GUARD right now for a free estimate and save 20% plus $500 off your purchase and installation. Leaf Guard, get it today, protected for life.
The power of baseball goes beyond the field.
It starts with kindness, reaching out a helping hand. Even the smallest gestures mean the world to a lot of people.
Stand up to cancer.
Together.
Together. Together.
Together.
Second year.
Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. To learn more, including how to find a league near you, go to playball.org and follow Play Ball on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Dan Coco has taken a beating here over the years.
He's had some solid looks there.
But Dan, as a reporter, that's what you want. That means there are celebrations, and that's a good thing.
Count the number of substances that were poured over me in those pictures that we just showed. We had water, Gatorade, beer, champagne, chocolate syrup, and I might have missed 1 or 2 others. That was fun stuff.
Anything happening at all today?
Well, I got a finger in the ear. I got a massage. Yeah, they've been accosting me down. It's dangerous work down here next to the field, guys.
All right, Dan.
That means you're good, Dan. That means everyone likes you. That's the cool thing. Another ground ball out by Kochanowicz today. He has been a ground ball machine, which tells you he's throwing the ball well.
And by the way, just a little shout out, since she's totally being ignored today, to your reporter, Erica Weston, on the Angels telecast. Been great to meet her this weekend. And this one off the bat of Jacob Young. It's going to take Moniak to the base of that scoreboard. It's about 380 where he caught that ball in right center.
Not many baseballs hit in the air today, but Moniak able to run that one down. Solid defensive play. We talked about Young. Same thing with Moniak. Very good in the outfield running down some baseballs. Hasn't got a chance to play a whole lot lately because a lot of left-handed starters the Angels have faced. It's solid here today as usual. Yeah, Erica does a great job. Same thing with the guys over there. Her having fun with Zach Neto is hilarious. Their little high five dance they got going, it's pretty funny.
And right now it's going for Jack Kochanowicz. He's only given the Nationals 2 hits through 4 2/3. The huge double play ball for him, kind of letting Washington know you had the door kicked open a bit, but he slammed it shut with the twin killing there.
Yeah, we call it a lot the Washington magic when he goes to the mound and visits a pitcher. Well, he got 3 outs on 2 ground balls.
Riley Adams gets under one out to left center. Taylor Ward under that. It's another 1-2-3 for Kochanowicz, looking strong now in his 3rd start of the season at the big league level.
The power of baseball goes beyond the field.
It starts with kindness, reaching out a helping hand. Even the smallest gestures mean the world to a lot of people.
Stand up to cancer.
Together.
Together. Together.
Together.
The National League Rookie of the Year is Corbin Carroll.
This dude is an absolute beast.
He's got every tool. He's got the power tool.
Carroll has hit another one.
Runs like the wind.
There goes Corbin. Go, Corbin, go.
He plays D.
Oh, he's got his signature play, that sliding grab.
Pound for pound, maybe the strongest player in the league.
It's been an incredible ride.
Stream every out-of-market game live or on demand. Plus, U.S. subscribers now have 24/7 access to MLB Network. Visit MLB.tv for details. Warm Sunday afternoon in our nation's capital. Right now, it's all Angels. 82 degrees here at the ballpark with the sun shining. And the 3rd Washington pitcher will be the lefty, Jose A. Ferrer.
Ferrer fastball, he can run it up. His average fastball velocity on his sinker is at 98. Same thing with his 4-seamer, 98.3. Changeup, cutter, slider.
24 years of age, Dominican Republic product, and giving Davey Martinez more versatility out of the bullpen, because for the most part this season, Robert Garcia, who can bring it, was his only lefty out there. It was tough matching up at the end of ball games.
Yeah, both bullpens really have been taxed over the last week or so.
I mean, the weather forecast around here was brutal with Hurricane Debbie and its remnants heading our way, but had a couple of rain delays on Thursday within the same game, but didn't have to play any doubleheaders. And as Ron Washington said this morning, those are the ones that just kill your bullpen, even when you get to add an extra man.
Yep. Especially add on what they have to do, play up there against that lineup for the Yankees. Anytime you have to even look at Aaron Judge.
Yeah, that's like playing a doubleheader facing those guys. Matt Theis, a base hit, a walk. He's had a good day. And where the shortstop wasn't is where he tucked that one in behind Nunez. Matt Theis
versus a lefty today. On base 3 times. Watch out with that speed he has at first base. He's got 3 stolen bases.
Well, and you mentioned Mickey Moniak struggles against lefties. He had a knock against MacKenzie Gore today.
That's a good swing. He just stayed on that one really, really effectively.
Second inning in a row. The Angels put their leadoff man on, Michael Stefanik, the number 9 hitter.
Oh, that was 104.6 off the bat for Thaiss against a tough lefty. That was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. So he's providing the power. You just got to get the barrel to it.
Well, that's a great fastball, inside edge from Ferrer. Angels getting their second look at him. He gave up a hit, had a strikeout in an 11-pitch 8th inning last night. Joe Adell got a base hit against him in that frame. Check swing, it's foul.
He's done a real nice job since his recall from AAA. Stefanik hit the ball well, hitting over 300. He's Mr. Contact, although he did strike out looking first at bat. Generally, he's a guy that puts the ball in play a lot of times on the ground. A lot of room on that right side of the infield. You can see he's trying to punch that ball that way, especially when you're dealing with high velocity that Ferrer has. So you just allow him to create that action off the bat.
Ball skips in, well blocked. Riley Adams is a large target back there. Angels don't have a day off after their cross-country trip tonight. They've got the Blue Jays in for 3, but Thursday off and then Atlanta for the weekend. Quite a homestand.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. is just on fire for Toronto.
Yeah, into the weekend, well into it, longest hitting streak in baseball.
Of course, his dad, had Hall of Famer, went in the Hall of Fame wearing an Angel hat.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Left side to his right, Nunez. Garcia going to have to be very quick and down the line to keep it alive. Stefanik. But not at all a bad 6-4 by those young middle infielders.
Yeah, that's some quick hands. That's great on the transfer also. A quick Nunez got rid of that one too, and Garcia out of the hand as quick as possible on the transfer made it a lot closer than it even thought it would be.
Well, managers and coaches can tell you a lot of hitting skills are things you're born with or blessed with. Defense, and Ron Washington, a proponent, of course, endless drills over the years with his guys. Defense is where you can get better and keep getting better throughout your career.
Well, I mean, I know you're the same thing, but I'm a fan of how quickly you can have that transfer as a middle infielder when you're turning double plays. Just that longer, time to get it out of your glove can result in an extra out and gives you a chance to swing the bat. When you're that quick on there, you're going to turn some double plays. They've already turned 2 of them, 3 of them, I should say, already today. It's been impressive.
Yep, 5 in the series. Yeah, Nunez is very slick at short. Luis Garcia is the guy who's made the quantum leap defensively. The Nats have worked hard with him over the last couple of years.
Man, he made an outstanding play on Matt Thaiss yesterday. If he doesn't make that play, the Angels probably win that game. There's no chance for a walk-off.
Right. Ferrer delivers the fastball up and away in the zone.
And he had to go to his backhand on a well-hit baseball. It was over 100 miles per hour off the bat of Matt Thaiss. He gets through. It's going to score a run in a 1st to 3rd scenario. Instead, it ends up being an out. He got through the inning.
Yeah, that stranded 2 runners early in the game. 2-2, non-competitive pitch. And we'll see if Stefanik's on the move here. Full count. 1 out right now. Ron Washington playing with house money, leading by 5.
One thing with Stefanik, it doesn't run a whole lot, but there is some trust in knowing the strike zone for Kochanowicz.
It's a crazy 4th inning, the Angels, when they got 5. 4 walks in the inning. The error followed by the double play ball 2 batters later made every one of those runs unearned. 3-2. Another walk. That's the 7th issued by the National staff today.
And the 2nd of the game for Kochanowicz and 51st on the season. And when you go back to the series, Bob, in New York, the Angels had 2 innings in that series where they scored 6 runs, back-to-back games. here in this game, 5 runs in the 4th. Even though the first 2 games struggled with runners in scoring position, 2 for 27. But still had a chance to win both of them. You got to give the Nationals credit for fighting back, getting some good at bats, running the bases extremely well. Still go back to that, going back to the tying run when the call was on first base, a base hit to left field, and he went first to third, which you don't even see teams even challenging to go first to third. But Call read that one well, was aggressive, got in there, eventually scored a tying run on a sac fly.
And now Ferrer losing his release points, and going to have a mound visit from Jim Hickey here. I mean, that ball barely landed in Riley Adams' mitt, and Jim Hickey was skipping over the top step of that dugout.
He's so well respected, Jim Hickey, one of the best of all time as far as a pitching coach.
Sometimes you take some pitches, help your team with a couple of walks. Sometimes you rake. And Dan Coco, Zach Neto has done both lately for the Angels.
Yeah, Bob, they're so high on this guy, as we've talked about over the course of the first 5 innings of this game. I asked Bo Porter earlier on today about Zach Neto. He said he's the real deal. We asked Ron Washington about him. He said he doesn't have a ceiling. But Wash said consistency will be the key in learning how to deal with failure. He said that he notices with Neto sometimes he makes a mistake, and as Wash put it, he gets in his feelings a bit. Wash said he has to ask him, can you play? And Neto says, yeah. And Wash says, well, that mistake is going to happen again. You're not perfect. This is a really hard game. Wash saying his weakness is himself, and he admitted that he's hard on Zach Neto at times, but he said that he kind of has to be. And this gets back to what we were talking about earlier, dealing with young players, learning the major league level as they go. Wash loves the ability of this guy, thinks he's going to be a fantastic player, but is trying to help him deal with struggles at the highest level.
This won't be easy. Great spin move by Vargas. No way to get Neto at first, but an outstanding play by the veteran at third base. One of those in-between hops. And Gooby, that thing had a ton of top spin on it.
I mean, he made it look easy, too, and he almost be able to turn a double play on it. It's a tough one, too, and you're trying to be as quick as possible on the transfer himself. So it's a tough hop. That ball can get by you quickly on a hop like that. A little top hand spin to it.
Well, here's the guy who had the big blow of that 5-run 4th inning, Kevin Pillar. MacKenzie Gore had a chance to get out of that inning despite 6 walks and a score of 2-0. Then Pillar steps up and lines one into the left field corner.
It's amazing how, as a hitter, when you just, for whatever reason, no matter who's on the mound, and the Nationals had a lot of good pitchers over the years, that he sees the baseball well against them and has a lot of success.
3-run double. He took third on the throw home. And in this series, 4 hits, 4 batted in.
His OPS versus the National amongst active players. I mean, there's some big time names on there, and Pillar's 4th, 1012 OPS.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you would expect Schwarber, Brian Reynolds in the other division, the Centro. Don't see him that much.
There's teams you play well against, and teams, no matter what, you struggle.
I mean, you expect Schwarber and the Polar Bear to be on that list, but Kevin Pillar, Mookie Betts, Red Sox and Dodgers, and Brian Reynolds. What a list of hitters that is. And guys who are pros, pro at bats, veteran guys who know how to play. That's a good job by Ferrer. 0-2, he slowed down his bat. Nunez makes the call. And Jose A. Ferrer takes him a while, puts a 0 on the board in the 6th. For the Nationals, it's getting late. Bottom 6 in this 5-0 game.
With the 25th selection, the Los Angeles Angels select Michael Trout. The New York Yankees select Aaron Judge.
Anthony Volpe.
The Baltimore Orioles select Manny Machado.
Grayson Rodriguez. Adley Rutschman. Jackson Holiday.
The Nationals select Bryce Harper. Steven Strasburg.
Dylan
Carlos Correa.
Alex Bregman.
Corey Seager.
Walker Will Smith.
Chris Kyle.
Kirby.
Since its inception, the Boys and Girls Clubs have been more than a fun place for kids to go after school. For some, it's been a second home, where they can learn, play, and grow. Thanks to the partnership between Major League Baseball and Boys and Girls Clubs, children of all backgrounds have access to safe spaces. All right, let's go take a selfie. MLB Together and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, empowering children and building futures. Bring it in.
Well, maybe before the ball game, you wouldn't have thought it would turn out this way. The live arm of MacKenzie Gore, and a guy making his third start.
Kochanowicz has done such a good job of going back to that trust in his sinker, and he's keeping the ball down. And you can tell what he's been able to do as far as that lower third of the strike zone. 15 outs, 11 with his sinker, 3 so far with his curveball. That sinker has been devastating.
Statcast powered by Google Cloud. Bottom 6. Nasim Nunez leads off. And a ways to go for Neto. Look at that quick release.
Well, that'll make Ron Washington smile. And that's just like we were talking about. Another ground ball, not hit hard. Off of Kochanowicz as an infielder, just like when Soriano for the Angels is on the mound, you know there's going to be some ground ball action. Staying on top of the baseball, creating that sink. That's right off the end of the bat.
One shortstop throwing out his counterpart who can fly, especially out of the left side of that batter's box. Second time through the order, Washington goes 1 for 8. And now Alex Call gets him off to a good start third time around. He's digging for 2. Throw is offline. And Alex Call with a hustle double. His 6th of the year. And this guy is now 20 for his last 44.
Going back to what we were talking about, you know, in the first 2 games, how good of a base runner he is. That's just a short swing. It's made good contact, and he's thinking double out of the batter's box. It's his 6th double of the season. That's tremendous speed and awareness that you have a good shot where that baseball is hit to get into scoring position. One of the few baseballs that was somewhat elevated against Kochanowicz so far, but still not a bad pitch.
And that ball hit to left by Luis Garcia with some carry on it, but it'll be Ward short of the track and a very quick second out. Juan Yepez is next.
And Bob, what I'm talking about, when he was struggling the first 2 games, he was around this on his sinker, so that creates this type of movement. But today he's been on top of the sinker, and that's going that downward action on his sinker. So you're going away from you. You're getting right towards it. You still want to get me back from 85, don't you? You still want to, you know?
Hey, I just rolled over a double play ball to the right side. It's okay.
But I love what he's doing with his sinker here today. There's a lot of trust and confidence in his sinker. It's a devastating pitch when he stays on top of the baseball instead of getting underneath it. It has flat action instead of sink.
Juan Yepez, the hitter, with 2 outs.
Well, you see that difference between his sinker. 9 for 15 the first 2, 2 for 13 in this game.
Juan a grounder and a walk today. Sits safely in 26 of his first 31 games with Washington this year, including the first 15. Trying to drop one into left center, and getting there in plenty of time is Ward. And another 0 on the board for 23-year-old Zach Kochanowicz, whose right arm right now is the story of this game.
All rise. Here comes the judge.
Judge is in a league of his own. Aaron Judge is a special talent, man. I look at him like the best hitter in this generation.
And that one is gone!
See ya! You come up here and you want to make a great impression. Hit every single at bat, really help the team.
Amazing performance by Judge.
He is everything that is good about the game of baseball.
Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, and Jim Leland each had their own journey, but now their paths converge in Cooperstown, New York. The 2024 Hall of Fame induction ceremony begins Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. World War II monument, the beautiful fountains, Washington Monument in the distance, looking east toward the Capitol. And this ball well hit by Taylor Ward to lead off the seventh. That's a can of corn for that guy, Jacob Young.
He's unbelievable. He makes it look routine.
He does.
See, a lot of sometimes you see outfitters, you know, they almost get that timing down where they almost have to go into a slide. But he gets underneath everything as if it's a routine play.
First pitch of the return after 40 games and a stint on the IL for 31-year-old Jordan Weems. A big arm in this bullpen. And with guys like Dylan Floro gone, Hunter Harvey gone, Nationals want to rely on him to have a good final 2 months and get set up for 2025.
You can see right there, 96 on his heater. Pretty much right at his average of his four-seamer, throw a slider, splitter, and a curveball.
Another product of the state of Georgia where so much baseball talent has come out of in recent years. I guess you'd say most of them, position players and sluggers. Jordan Weems originally drafted by the Red Sox as a catcher more than a dozen years ago.
And the Angels had a pretty good guy who was drafted as a catcher, closed games for him, Troy Percival.
Oh my goodness.
Including every out of the run to the World Series. Percy.
How nasty was he?
I was convinced he couldn't see. We go in there and squint looking at the sign, so I can imagine when you're throwing 98 as a hitter, you're not real comfortable in the batter's box. Because I got a chance to play with the Angels 1 year with him, and I go, can you see? He goes, yeah, I got to the point where I think it worked to my advantage that hitters didn't think I could see throwing that baseball.
And there's another relief connection between Washington and the Angels. From 87 through 92, a great closer was Brian Harvey. And the aforementioned Hunter Harvey,
yes,
his son, looked like a big part of the Nats bullpen looking down the road, but they decided to deal him a couple of weeks ago.
Going over to Kansas City as they're trying to make a run back to the postseason themselves after losing 100+ games last year.
I mean, Bobby Witt Jr.
And that's the thing that gives you hope for both the Nationals and Angels fans, that you can turn it around quickly, especially when you have a young core. And then once you feel, your ownership feels that young core is making those strides, then you can supplement it with veterans around them to give you a chance at a run to get to the postseason. And you know when you get there, you never know. Like the Diamondbacks last year, nobody had them going to the World Series.
And for that matter, the 19 Nationals.
Exactly. Nobody thought they could beat the Dodgers. Nobody thought they could beat the Astros, and they won a world championship.
Yeah, Hunter Harvey, Dylan Floro. Dylan Floro changed clubhouses when the Nationals were in Phoenix last week. Jesse Winker to the Mets. Lane Thomas for 3 players to the Guardians, including Jose Tena, who started the game today and then left with that injured thumb. Swing and a miss. And it's Mickey Moniak having a good day. 2 for 3. Couple of singles.
Brandon Drury with 3 walks today. It means he's seeing the baseball pretty well. Put it in perspective.
And it leads to good things. We're talking about Logan O'Hoppe. Last night, he was retired his first time up to go 0 for 20. Then he walks a couple of times. There's Brian Harvey.
He had that nasty fork ball. We hear splitter, but he had the actual fork ball, like a Bruce Sutter fork ball. And when he came in the game, we were all on the bench. We were already walking up into the clubhouse thinking there's no chance.
Nobody makes George Brett look like that. Goodness. Outside, 1-2 to Moniak. Hunter, not that kind of pitcher. I mean, he's all about 98, 99.
Yep.
Here's the cheese. What can you do with it? Nationals looking for a potential 4th double play ball here.
Still no bullpen action for the Angels. Kochanowicz has been very, very efficient with his pitches.
Well, how about 11 pitches? Not even a full 11 pitches per inning. He's at 64 through 6. Yesterday through 6, Canning was at 70 pitches. Economy of work. Swing and a miss on a pitch up and away. And that's the fastball that the Nats are looking for from Jordan Weems. 2 down.
Yeah, when he can run that, especially if you can run it upstairs, that makes it more difficult. Even though as a hitter you could see it, you're reading, you think you got a chance at it. Tough one to be able to catch up to.
There's Joe Adell, hitless day, but he did hit that hard ball down to third, on which Tena hurt his hand back in the 4th inning. The Nats for a moment thought it might be a double play ball, and then the inning fell apart from there with all the walks and the big hit by Pilar.
Adell with a 9-game hitting streak going right now.
I've got him 11 for his last 36, including today.
Well, he's been real good, Bob, as far as he used to have more of a leg kick himself. Now he has that little toe tap. His swing is shorter, but it's a faster swing. So he's making more consistent, more direct to the baseball and hitting it harder.
Well, things move so quickly at the big league level. Foot down. Good swing.
He likes that lower third, kind of like a Mike Trout. When you look at Mike Trout's numbers on his way to the Cooperstown, he's crushed himself those pitches downstairs, and Joe Adell doing the same thing.
Glad you brought up Mike Trout's name. Gooby, you probably know him as well as anybody in baseball. What's going on with him? How's he feeling, and how's he handling all of this?
He had his surgery just on his birthday, as a matter of fact, on August 7th, that second surgery. And right now, I just talked to him just recently. He says he feels great, and he'll be ready to go full bore next year. In spring training, be ready to roll. Well, the Angels are doing more walking than my dad did as a mailman back in Philadelphia.
2 on, 2 out. I mean, we're talking 9 free passes. And it's kind of amazing that it's still a 5-run game, probably because of 3 double plays. So, I mean, it's just a litany of things that have happened to Mike. The latest, the left meniscus tear. Just huge chunks of different seasons going back to 21.
And the way it was starting, and we were talking about him potentially getting to that 400th career home run at some point during the year. He's probably going to pass it. Had 10 home runs, before you even get into May. It's unfortunate that Trout's not in there because he's such a great player, an even better person.
So the 3-time AL MVP, 4 times he's been the runner-up. 11 All-Star games, 9 Silver Sluggers, and of course Rookie of the Year back in 12. And we remember around these parts, Bryce Harper was called up in May of 2012, and the comparisons immediately began, even though at that time they were different kind of players.
Yeah, those guys have been connected. They've done even a friendship over the year too, because of that connection. Those two coming up at such an early age with all that pressure on both of them.
Well, and you know, we heard rumors that after Harper left here and signed with the hated Phillies, that he was lobbying with everything he had to get Mike Trout on that ball club as a teammate. And who wouldn't want that? 2-0, but he re-signed with the Angels, another big deal, and a lot invested in Mike Trout. We wish him well. Baseball's better when he's in the lineup.
Yep. Loyalty he has for the Angels organization, and his goal is to get them back to the postseason. Everything he can, and the big way to do that is keeping him on the field. And you might see him in the future more DHing, even though historically his numbers when he's been a DH have not been great. But it's something he's already said, you know, if that's whatever keeps his bat in the lineup is going to be the most important thing.
You know what, Gooby? He'll get used to it. And he'll excel at it just like he has everything else.
Yes.
I mean, that, you know him better than we do. That strikes me as a strong-willed individual who could do anything out there once he sets his mind to it.
Bob, just before he went in and, you know, that knee started hurting again after the original meniscus surgery, he said, I found something with my hands. I can't wait to get back out there. And then unfortunately the knee started hurting again and he had to go in for another surgery on his meniscus.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Matt Thaiss. Having a perfect day. 2 hits, a walk, and a steal. And now another long inning for a Nationals pitcher.
There's been a lot of full counts here today for the Angels hitters against National pitchers.
Ferrer just threw 27. Barnes relatively quick in the 5th with the double play ball. 11 pitches. But it's been a grinder for Davey Martinez staff here today. 3-2. There have been some pitches borderline up at the top of the zone, and now that's 10 walks on the day, and 3 passes, loading them up here in the 7th. Well, I thought this was an exorbitant number, and now we know why. It's the most. Here's Stefanik.
This has been the mantra for Ron Washington and the Angels here. You got to get those add-on runs here. You never trust this national team coming back. You keep mentioning how many times they've come back and won games. You got to distance yourself right now if you're the Angels with all these free passes.
Oh for 3, Stefanik in the series, 2 for 10. And you would expect Jordan Williams to be rusty.
You know, sometimes when you're feeling really good and you haven't been on that mound where you're competing against the very best players in the world, it's tough. Be consistent in the strike zone. And he hasn't been able to get to that. Been above the zone, below the zone.
He was pitching well up until the time he went in the IL. So there's Drury, who walked with 1 out. With 2 outs, Joe Adell. And a moment ago, Matt Thaiss. Big pitch for Weems, and he gets back even 2-2. His last appearance July 20th, and then came off the injured list yesterday.
And one thing that's been going back to Kochanowicz today, he's been, you know, sitting in the dugout quite a bit, even though he's had efficient quick innings, but he's had a lot of time in between innings in this game. Long innings offensively. Backup breaking ball, just fought that one off to keep his at bat alive here.
The one pitch a hitter never looks for, the backup breaking ball. Way outside. And the Angels might add on here without having to swing much at all.
See Kochanowicz moving around just to try to stay loose.
I mean, they only had 2 hits in that 5-run 4th inning. The Nats have just handed them a lot on a platter today. Washington has any chance to come back, they need to get out of this inning right here, right now. And this one into right for Alex Call. A ways to go, foul ground, and he just couldn't get there.
Well, we were talking as a group with the Angels broadcast team. We were saying this speed in the outfield for the Nationals, anything hit, unless it's way in the stands, got a chance of being caught. Call almost got to that base, especially where he was playing. He's going a long round. You're talking about 90 to 100 feet of coverage trying to run that one down, not quite able to get there.
And of course, the previous right fielder, Lane Thomas, 18 assists last year, almost as quick as Jacob Young. In fact, Jacob still trailing Lane Thomas in steals this year. And that's going to force in a run. 6-0.
It's 4 walks in the inning.
Yeah, and MacKenzie Gore had 4 walks back in the 4th, and Davey Martinez is making a very slow, painful walk to the mound here in the 7th. Hoping to get 1 inning at a time from his guys. The left-hander Robert Garcia will be next. So without a hit, the Angels add on here, and they're still hitting. Top of the order coming up here in the top of the 7th.
So that's how they're so productive. They use Fiverr. Look how quickly they find freelancers. So simple.
Yeah, but why are they working in the dark?
Grow your business easily with freelancers. Fiverr.
How many pairs of Tecovas boots is too many pairs? Not sure. How much fun is too much fun? Find your next pair or 2 at Tecovas.
Learning to invest with Greenlight has really paid off.
Huh. Reminds me of how I learned about investing. Yeah, I never learned about investing.
Is there water in this thing?
Bring your family into the financial future.
With the Game Time app, I paid 60% less than this guy.
What?
And it's not just sports tickets. It's also concerts. Performances, too!
Oh, come on!
Download Game Time. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
The National League Rookie of the Year is Corbin Carroll.
This dude is an absolute beast.
He's got every tool. He's got the power tool.
Carroll has hit another one.
Runs like the wind.
There goes Corbin. Go, Corbin, go.
He plays D.
Oh, and he's got it. His signature play, that sliding grab.
Pound for pound, maybe the strongest player in the league.
It's been an incredible ride.
Welcome back to MLB Sunday Leadoff on the Roku channel, presented by Lululemon. Yeah, you're hearing it. Walk It Up by Unk. And sadly for the Nats, appropriate right now with, my goodness, 11 walks on the day. Top of the order, Sean Newell out to center for Jacob Young. The long-awaited 7th inning stretch here. Does Washington have a chance to come back? They've got 4, 5, 6 coming up. 9 outs with which to work in this 6-0 game.
How you get healthcare matters. That's why millions of guys trust Hims. For mental health, ED, and hair loss, Hims can help. Through a free online intake at hims.com, you can hear back from a licensed provider in hours instead of waiting weeks. Plus, through the app, you can control your shipping, access curated content, and message your care team at any time. Premium care, ultimate value. Find your doctor-trusted treatment 100% online. Get started today at hims.com.
Have you heard? Soda's not a dirty word anymore. Introducing Poppy, the best thing to happen to lemon lime since, well, lemons and limes. It's the iconic, refreshing flavor you crave, but with 3 grams of sugar. Real lemon, real lime, real juicy flavor. The future of soda is now, and it's called Poppy. Poppy, soda's back.
When it comes to tickets, pick TickPick. You're picking the best prices guaranteed, with no hidden fees ever. Pick from thousands of live events. No hidden fees, more savings. Download the TickPick app.
Join the million-plus fans who have made game days more entertaining by playing along on Underdog. Basketball fans from all over the United States have won over $1 billion. Underdog Fantasy, calling all dogs.
I feel like I lose track of at least $500 a month.
Maybe that's because you still use spreadsheets. Haven't you heard of Rocket Money?
No, but you're probably going to cut me off and tell me about it.
It's an app that automatically tracks your spending in real time, lowers your bills, and finds and cancels sneaky subscriptions.
Sign me up.
Stay on track with your finances and download Rocket Money today.
We're coming in hot.
before getting on the field.
Let me bring up a couple of numbers, too.
Teams get hot, teams get cold.
I check out off base.
This guy, stuff-wise, big-time stuff.
You had your pick.
Off Base, only on MLB Network.
Let's have a look at our game summary. It's all Angels right now. On only 2 hits, 5 runs, all under back in that 4th inning. Jack Kochanowicz, 64 pitches, 41 strikes through 6. And out dueling MacKenzie Gore, who had control issues. And after 4 innings, he had thrown 86 pitches. I just realized you and I were rookies in the same year. Yeah. Except you worked a lot harder in '84, breaking in with the Royals, and I was 250 miles down the road, sitting on my rear end in the broadcast booth.
But I could relate. Speaking of '84, my first year with Kochanowicz, I remember I was a sinker ball pitcher too, and remember trying to throw the ball too hard. I had 1 year where I walked 120 in a season. So that was a lot of traffic errors. I know a little bit about walking, guys, too, but getting back to staying on the top of that baseball, running down and get ground balls and trusting, hey, great defense is how you win in the major leagues.
Well, we all know what happens with overthrown sinkers. They don't sink. Bottom of the 7th inning after a long break. God bless America. Take me out to the ball game here. Nationals are averaging 24,445 per game. Here in D.C., they usually average about 20,000 for weeknight games and about 30,000 on the weekends. Nationals at home, 28-31. This is the last game of a 10-game homestand. They beat Milwaukee 2 out of 3, lost 3 out of 4 to the Giants, and now they'll at least win 2 out of 3 against the Angels. James Wood, first pitch to Hopper. Stefanik on the move. And that now 19 outs on 65 pitches for Jack Kochanowicz.
Ground ball out. As much as everyone loves strikeouts, no thank you. I'll take outs if you're on the mound. But I love coming to this ballpark. It's been since 2017. I had a chance to be in this ballpark, in this city. Glad to be back here, Bob. Great to be working with you too, my friend.
You know, it's so great to work with somebody I've admired and had a friendship with for over the years. And by the way, you may not know this, when you guys were here 7 years ago, the Padres, the Angels, and the Cardinals were here. It was Holy Week in Washington, D.C.
Yes, that's a good one.
And Albert Pujols was wearing out the Nats. That guy came in here with St. Louis and the Angels, and he had some milestones here, milestone home runs.
Yeah, be part of that 500th home run, 600th home run, 2,000 RBIs, 3,000 hits.
That's well hit, but 2 is right. Neto. Ildemaro Vargas 0 for 2 since coming in.
A lot of times you give credit to infielders, and you should, and pitchers, but I'll tell you what, the people that set up your defense before the game and in each batter too, to know exactly where to put them and place an infielder. I mean, that ball's hit well. Yeah. Ends up almost being a routine play on that one by Neto.
Here's Blankenhorn. And there's a high drive that is gone if it stays fair, but it's hooking. And probably past the pole about 10 feet to the right. This guy was raking at AAA. Nearly 20 home runs, actually over 20 home runs. And RBI leader in the long ball as well, and extra base hits.
And they're up there hacking. They're not going to change their approach. And that's why you see Kochanowicz with such a low pitch count, because they're aggressive. We've seen that at all 3 of these games so far. Both teams normally. That's why it's so surprising the amount of walks that the Angels have picked up today, 11 of them.
Blankenhorn turned 28 8 days ago. Getting his money's worth there. He's a Pottstown, PA guy, by the way. Out of Pottstown High School, was committed to the University of Kentucky, signed with the Twins.
Where Joe Madden's from, Pottstown, I think.
Maybe.
Close to that area, I know that.
But he had 24, drove in 69 with 47 extra base hits at Rochester this year. A place where I might add, it's not a whole lot of fun to hit until about the middle of May. Neto on the move.
Another ground ball out for Kochanowicz. He has been a ground ball machine.
And that would be 12 of those today.
Bobby Raps MVP, and I ain't going nowhere, so you can get to know me. Needed a love with the underdogs on top, and I'm gonna shine, homie, until my heart stop.
Does anyone realize the monster that's lurking in Minnesota's pen? Mr. Duran.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good night. Duran, a dominant ninth.
This is unhittable stuff.
What's the movement? I mean, that's incredible.
Swung on a mist. He threw him something nasty and breaking.
Ball comes out with flames behind it.
He struck him out swinging. Gas at 103.
He is the best closer in baseball.
We're coming in hot.
Before getting on the field.
Let me bring up a couple of numbers, too.
Teams get hot, teams get cold.
I check out off base.
This guy, stuff-wise, big-time stuff.
You had your pick.
Off Base, only on MLB Network.
Friday, MLB announced the Braves and Reds will play at the historic Bristol Motor Speedway. Capacity, 146,000, I might add. But they'll have to have a batter's eye somewhere. August 2nd next year, first regular season Major League game to be played in the volunteer state of Tennessee. How cool is that?
I love what baseball is doing, different venues like that, an opportunity for baseball fans. I think it's somewhere down the road we might see baseball in Nashville, Tennessee, before too long at all.
Could be a real big coincidence, couldn't it, to take baseball to Tennessee? Fort Bragg got it all started back in 16. This is Robert Garcia against Zach Neto. Little League Classic in Williamsport, 17 through this year. Omaha back in 19. The Field of Dreams in Iowa, 21 and 22. London for the last 3 years. Mexico City the last 2 years. And then earlier this year, Seoul, South Korea. And of course, Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, they were all this incredible games and atmospheres.
This ball guided up the middle. Nunez to his left on the run, and a bullet to Yepes.
Well, both these shortstops have exceptional range and arms.
Well, Nasi Nunez says, you did it to me back in the 6th. I'll take care of you here in the 8th.
Because Neto runs well, too. How quick he got on this transfer, relied on that off-balance throw, and a perfect throw. Tell you what, that Field of Dreams game in Iowa when Tim Anderson walked it off into the cornfield was incredible. It almost didn't seem like it was real.
And when they came walking out of the cornfield before the game, if you didn't have chills, you were not breathing.
I actually got him right now when you just said that. That was unreal.
It's my favorite all-time baseball movie.
Yeah. I'm right with you.
There's a feeling and an aura about Field of Dreams. You know, some of the others are fun. Major League, Bull Durham and all that. But the nuance and the feeling you get, the romance you feel about the game of baseball, Field of Dreams captured all of that.
Yeah.
By the way, he's the best shortstop that ever played behind you. On the heels of that play we just saw.
Yeah. I mean, I was pretty lucky from the Kurt Stillwells to Buddy Biancalanas. There's been so many really good ones. I'm probably leaning towards Kurt Stillwell in that one. He was really good behind me.
Yes, he was. I thought a rather unsung player along with that.
I had to play a little bit with the great late UL Washington too. He was fun to be together back in my first year.
I tell you, we just bring something up and the crew has it. Tim Anderson the other way. See you later. What a night. August 21st. 3 years ago.
Now with a back and forth game too.
So cool.
The uniforms they wore, everything about that one.
Closest I'll ever come to calling a home run in Iowa. Or was it heaven?
It was heaven.
Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa.
All right. Play catch or have a catch for you?
Have a catch.
Have a catch.
Yeah. With Dad. I grew up across the street in St. Louis from a big city park and begged my dad to go over there and hit me fungos and play catch.
The movie's extra special for me too because my dad played in the minor leagues with the White Sox back in the early 50s. He never talked about it at all. And it didn't really work out real well, but to see him, you know, and think about playing catch with my late dad and think he wore a White Sox uniform, that was pretty special too.
Taylor Ward with a base hit. That'll salvage him a 2-for-5 day. He's having a really nice weekend. 6 for 14, 10 hits during his 7-game hitting streak. Against Robert Garcia, the Nats' other lefty who's really been the mainstay, southpaw out of Davey Martinez bullpen all year. Nationals, as I mentioned, 10th game of this homestand, about to go on a killer 6-game trip with 2 at Camden Yards and 4 at Citizens Bank Park. Orioles, the first major league team yesterday to make it to 70 wins. Easily to second, Ward.
It's a battle between Baltimore and the Yankees in the AL East. Baltimore, all their young players too.
It's been an amazing turnaround for them. I always thought last year the Orioles kind of snuck up on everybody, and they'd have a target on their backs this year. And right now they're just as good or better than they were a year ago with all those young guys gaining experience.
And Corbin Burns is their ace of their staff. Really has been a difference maker for them.
There's the East. Red Sox have lost 3 in a row to cool off a bit, but right now a 2-horse race between Babe Ruth's hometown and the team he did all those amazing things for.
Way to bring that all together, Bob. I like that one. Way to go.
2 balls, 1 strike. And this chopper, here comes Nunez again. Getting a workout today, and I'm sure he loves it. He's been dying for playing time all year. To the bottom of the 8th, young Adams Nunez.
Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, and Jim Leland each had their own journey, but now their paths converge in Cooperstown, New York. The 2024 Hall of Fame induction ceremony begins Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network.
The National League Rookie of the Year is Corbin Carroll.
This dude is an absolute beast.
He's got every tool. He's got the power tool.
Carroll has hit another one.
Runs like the wind.
There goes Corbin. Go, Corbin, go.
He plays D.
Oh, he's got it. His signature play, that sliding grab.
Pound for pound, maybe the strongest player in the league.
It's been an incredible ride.
The power of baseball goes beyond the field.
It starts with kindness, reaching out a helping hand. Even the smallest gestures mean the world to a lot of people.
Stand up to cancer.
Together.
Together. Together.
Together.
Got some StatCast for you, powered by Google Cloud. 12 ground ball outs, double play ball. This is interesting, Gooby. First 2 starts. Mariners, A's, 7 innings total. Today, 14, make it 12 fewer runs and 11 fewer hits.
Yeah, it's incredible when you go even back to his last start. He went 4 innings, he had 74 pitches. He's going in here in the 8th inning with 72 pitches. See those numbers, 7 innings combined on his first 2 starts. Just dominating on that sinker, getting ground ball after ground ball. And you go back to that quick conversation with Ron Washington ran out there after the Angels had that lead, scoring 5 runs for him. Got 3 outs on the ground, 1 being a double play ball. But it looked like the Nationals were trying to get right back in the game.
Luis Garcia doubled. He walked Juan Yepez, and Ron Washington was out of the dugout almost before ball 4 had been called. And then the aforementioned 2 ground balls, getting 3 outs. Cruise control ever since, with only the Alex Call double in the 6th to blemish that streak he's on. So that's 11 of the last 12 batters. And there's a long ball to left from Jacob Young. That's going to be well out of here. And that's his 2nd of the year. I always thought his first couple of homers would be inside the Parkers. The way he can run. Jacob Young doubles his home run total on that swing, and now it's 6-1.
2 strikes, he threw him a curveball. It was upstairs, a hittable pitch. Yeah, this is one of those things now as a young pitcher. You give up that home run, you worked ahead. It wasn't you were behind. You had 2 strikes on the batter, but that curveball was upstairs. See how quickly Jack Kochanowicz can rebound here and get that quick out after that home run.
3rd long ball he's given up. Riley Adams is next.
Mike Baumann looks like he's up in the bullpen for the Angels. He started with him if he had any trouble here. Even though the pitch count is good, it's already into the 8th up and down innings.
Gets inside well on Adams. Washington making a slow trek toward 100 homers. That's 97. Fewest in all of Major League Baseball. A lot of upside for that young man. And a 2-hopper. Neto. Compared to the rest of the afternoon for him and Nunez, that's a pretty routine play. First out. Now the Angels count down 5 outs to go.
You see that spinner just got around that curveball. It spins on that inner half, and with that lift of the baseball, the launch angle for Young, he's able to get that one out for his 2nd home run of the year. He got out by a lot too. With 389 to 100.3 exit velocity with that launch angle, that generally means a home run. But a nice bounce back by Kochanowicz. Right away got a ground ball after that. Didn't bother him at all.
Right. A baker's dozen on the ground today. Nasim Nunez 1 for 2. Infield hit to short. And then the next time his counterpart Neto took a hit away from him. Nasim Nunez has 6 at bats this weekend. 3 sacrifice bunts, 9 plate appearances. So that's probably at least a third of his plate appearances for the entire season. With C.J. Abrams battling some back spasms for a couple of days, and from the Washington standpoint, hopefully okay by Tuesday in Baltimore.
That's a good visit by Matt Theis to go out to Kochanowicz there and say, hey, listen, this is make him hit the ball, make him swing the bat. Just trust that movement on your fastball. You can even throw it at the middle of the plate. It's not going to stay in the middle of the plate because it's going to move for you. That's a great 2-0 pitch. Nasty sinker.
But the life of a Rule 5 player is so strange. Picked up from Miami. If you don't remain on the big league roster all year, ball club has to offer you back to your previous team, and you can go weeks without an at bat. And now he is 5 for his last 21. Not bad.
Yeah, and his speed is amazing. His defense is good. Yeah, you don't want to lose him if you're the Nationals.
And the other thing is, in the National League now with the DH, far fewer pinch hitters being used than ever before. And a guy like this who could be a fifth defensive infielder, pretty important. I mean, you got to give your shortstop a couple of days off here and there anyway. Time called for the hitter a little late.
Well, you look at the build of Kochanowicz, very similar to Ben Joyce, who we may or may not see in this game, although both throw hard. Ben Joyce is in another atmosphere as far as how hard he throws at 104.7, but very similar build, and they kind of look a little bit alike.
Mike Baumann, as Gooby mentioned a few minutes ago, 2-2 to Nunez. He's going to fight one off. This looks like another infield hit for him. I mean, he can absolutely fly. He's 2 for 3 today, and on the weekend, he's 3 for 7, having the weekend of his life.
Yeah, 2 for 3 in a total distance of maybe about 90 feet, but showing that speed he has going down the line. That's what's so important about making contact. And they have throughout the series. There's 2 strikeouts today for Kochanowicz. Just like yesterday with Griffin Canning had 0.
Top of the order, Alex Call. Opposite field double last time. Ball gets away. Nice. Not able to grab it cleanly. Should be a wild pitch all the way, and another potential run at second base.
Guessing right now, Bob, this could be the last batter of the afternoon for Kochanowicz. Even if he gets him out.
Yeah, lefty Garcia with Pop on deck.
This sinker right now, I think Stefanik maybe move over a little bit towards second.
And down to Drury at third. Quick release.
Another
right on target, 2 outs.
Ground ball out. A lot of soft contact on the ground too. They're ground ball outs. Sometimes they're hit harder than this, but a good pitch again below the zone, and that probably is it now for Kochanowicz.
Ron Washington told us hours ago he wanted a little bit of length out of his starter today. Some innings is what Ron said, kind of guardedly saying to us, I hope he can go deep. And he has taken care of that Angels bullpen today, hasn't he?
Oh, he's been tremendous. And you know, right now this is an opportunity to pick up your first major league win after 2 tough starts. Is this one of the part of the wash magic, or is he going to the bullpen? I think he asked him.
Hook.
He asked him, "Do you got him?" And he said, "Yes." I've been there before with a manager. If he asks you, "Do you got him?" I said, "I'm your best option." And as soon as you say that, they go back to the dugout. If you go, "I don't know," and then you're out. So you either say yes or "I'm your best option." They'll always give you a shot to be able to finish off the inning.
Yeah, they're looking you in the eye, wanting to see how committed you are. Only 3 double-digit innings. That is crazy today by today's standards. So he gets Garcia. 1 for 3. A double that went spinning past the third base bag in the 4th. Other than that, a comebacker and a soft fly ball to left. And Garcia knows the Nats need base runners.
He's a guy that generally will hit the ball on the ground. But he's a good contact guy too. Still firm at 96. On his 91st pitch now.
Runner at second, 2 outs here in the 8th. Way inside. And usually when you say I'm your best option or yes, they give you one more hitter, right?
Yes, always. But we know how the Nationals have come back in these games here. You always want to make sure you don't want to gift any base runners here, especially with their comeback capabilities for the Nationals.
3-1. Hitters count. And Garcia up the middle. Nunez will score easily. And from 6-0 to 6-2 for the comeback Nationals here in the 8th. Luis Garcia, second hit of the day, 4th of the weekend, RBI number 57.
So it's a great performance by Kochanowicz today. He got the ground ball right back up the middle, though sometimes you can't control where that's going.
1 walk all day. Hasn't had a strikeout since the 2nd inning. And really everything he did today was a formula for getting his team deep into this game. Washington, Garcia aboard. Yepez coming in to hit. Angels still lead by 4 here in the 8th.
Does anyone realize the monster that's lurking in Minnesota's pen? Mr. Duran.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good night. Duran, a dominant night.
This is unhittable stuff.
What's the movement? I mean, that's incredible.
Swung on a miss. He threw him something nasty and breaking.
Ball comes out with flames behind it.
He struck him out swinging. Gas at 103.
He is the best closer in baseball.
Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, and Jim Leland each had their own journey, but now their paths converge in Cooperstown, New York. The 2024 Hall of Fame induction ceremony, Sunday, July 21st on MLB Network.
Zach Neto getting that handshake and a hug from Ron Washington, exactly like you mentioned, Bob. He wanted some length, and it was some serious quality length by Kochanowicz today. A ground ball machine, and efficient as far as his pitch count. Was dominant, looking for his first major league win today. Went deep into the game, gets 2 outs in the 8th inning before the Nationals were able to get a couple runs across. And just like this, the Nationals feel they have life again, and they've done that, especially in the 8th inning in this series.
Yeah, if they get any additional runs here in the 8th, the Angels might get a bit skittish because of the comebacks previously. Mike Baumann, he will face Juan Yepez for the first time here. Healthy hack on a pitch sitting upstairs.
Yeah, Baumann can touch with his fastball. He can be up there at about 98 miles an hour. Also has a good slider split.
But Gooby, I tell you, no matter how that worked out, I love what Ron Washington did with and to his young pitcher there, giving him one more chance. And then, of course, you know, if there's a hit or the inning continues, he's done. But that's got to be a confidence boost for a young hurler, right?
Yeah, especially if you're a young pitcher and you're basically saying this is my game. I can get him out.
You got a baseball lifer who came into the game and let you stay in.
The one thing you don't want to do if you're Baumann right here is gift runners here. You don't want to give the Nationals any more life, especially with their comeback capabilities.
Well, and on top of that, really, the guy on deck, James Wood, 3-1. Oh, this could get interesting. 2 on, 2 out. And just like that, the tying run comes to the on-deck circle. Another pitcher Wood will see for the first time.
looking at hot zones and exit velos and all these pitches all throughout the strike zone, the only pitch he has struggled at all with has been down and away at the knees.
Line drive to short on one pitch in the second. Ground balls to the right side since.
That's in the strike zone, not called. All of a sudden now when you're out of the zone, you don't get those borderline pitches called your way. And we mentioned it earlier, for a young kid, he's got tremendous patience at the plate, knows the strike zone extremely well.
Well, this cannot be a pitching change. He's only faced one batter and now number two. And here comes Ron Washington, who's made 3 visits to the mound now today without taking out a pitcher. When do you ever see that?
And this is right away the same conversation he had with Kochanowicz earlier. The only way they get back into the game is if you gift runners, go out there and attack.
How big is that run on 4 walks looking in the 7th that the Angels scored? That keeps Wood from being the tying run right now. Wood spit on it, thought it was outside, and now the count 2-1.
It's still a good take, though. That's a perfect pitch. You don't want to, if you're a hitter, you don't want to go after that one.
And we saw on the graphic that's where his softest velo is, down and away. And now it's ball 3.
So you potentially will be bringing up for the walk here, the tying run to the dish, just like that.
Garcia from second, Yepez from first will be on the move here. 3-2 count, 2 outs. Possible defining moment in this ball game right here. And Wood will take a mighty hack and straight back it goes.
You can see that kind of power he has and bat speed he has. Baumann still believes with his fastball velocity he can get him out. His power is the left center field.
Ball 4, bases loaded, tying run coming up. In the person of a contact guy, Ildemaro Vargas, who puts the ball in play right around 90% of the time.
And the one thing you didn't want to see is those gift runners, and just like that, they're feeling pretty good, the Nationals, and their comeback capabilities.
Look out. The bat over the dugout into the screen. The ball fouled back. Vargas' first ever at bat against Baumann. That bat had no chance if it hit Paul Lessard in the head. The Nats athletic trainer, head athletic trainer. 0-1. Vargas out of play.
This is the time now you've worked yourself into a 0-2 count. You have a contact hitter at the plate. This is where I'm thinking that's where you go with your secondary pitch right now, because he's going to make contact on a fastball, especially if you try to elevate it. He can punch that ball to left. You might get him out in front with a good secondary pitch and a swing and miss.
Vargas, and that ball tailing back to Ward, who had a ways to go, set himself, and Washington will strand more runners in that inning as they had all day long. Couple in the 6th for the home team. Angels into the 9th on top by 4.
With the 25th selection, the Los Angeles Angels select Michael Trout. The New York Yankees select Aaron Judge.
Anthony Volpe.
The Baltimore Orioles select Manny Machado.
Grayson Rodriguez. Adley Rutschman. Jackson Holiday.
The Nationals select Bryce Harper. Steven Strasburg.
Dylan
Carlos Correa.
Alex Bregman.
Corey Seager.
Walker Buehler.
Will Smith.
Chris Ryan. George Kirby.
The power of baseball goes beyond the field.
It starts with kindness, reaching out a helping hand. Even the smallest gestures mean the world to a lot of people.
Stand up to cancer.
Together.
Together. Together.
Together.
We're coming in hot.
Before getting on the field.
Let me bring up a couple of numbers, too.
Teams get hot, teams get cold.
I check out off base.
This guy, stuff-wise, big-time stuff.
You had your pick.
Off Base, only on MLB Network.
You know, players don't like to be compared to others for the most part, but look at the drop and drive of the Hall of Famer Tom Seaver and the guy Mark Gubicza, who threw 42 complete games, 16 shutouts in his career.
That's pretty cool to be compared. And I'll give you a quick story about that, too, because my first pitch I would throw in spring training, my kneecap would immediately start to hurt. Ooh. And then so I went up to Tom Seaver, I kid you not, Bob. I went up and said, Bob, how do you stay healthy when you drive like that? He goes, you ever play basketball? I said, yeah. You know those white knee pads basketball players would use? They go, I put that right underneath my uniform on my knee. Immediately I went out and bought it at an athletic store, and I never had a knee problem the rest of my career.
That's pretty cool. What about a $5 or $6 solution to something that you were really worried about?
My kneecap was killing me after the first pitch I threw.
Well, I would watch Tom Seaver and other guys like him. Not that there were that many like Tom Terrific. I mean, but that right knee was almost on the ground a lot, and that's really something. A little extra support there, huh?
Yeah. And I never had a problem with that. And I was a big believer, and I still am, with pitchers that you don't really see many drop and drive where you drive for that back leg to be able to maximize your effort. Wait, what a game by Moniak today, too.
Yeah. Used to be a Philly, which makes him a disliked guy in this town. But he's got 3 for 5 going today, and for somebody who doesn't play every day and get 4 at-bats all the time, that's quite a ball game.
And when he's going good, Bob, it's on the line. When he struggles, he's trying to hit home runs. And last year he had 12 home runs. And I remember Ron Washington telling him earlier this year, you're not a home run hitter, you're a line drive hitter. Right. But he got into trying to lift the baseball and a lot of pop-ups, swing and misses upstairs. But, it's been now a little over a month where he's hit more line drives, and you see that today with 3 hits.
Tanner Rainey is the new Nats reliever here in the 9th. Looked upon a couple of years ago as a closer of the future, mid to high 90s. Tommy John surgery, still on his way back. And over the last, I'd say, month and a half or so, trending in a very positive direction, because early in the season, his velocity, which isn't everything, but for a guy like him, it means something, was down 92, 93. Now he's getting it back up there, on the way to where it used to be.
I mean, when you average a 94, 99, that gives you a chance to ride a fastball up and get chases with your slider and changeup.
Pretty good matchup here. Power versus power with Adele. It's going to get way out in front of that and hook it into the screen.
By the way, Bob, up here in this booth here where we're at, this is the one place you're pretty comfortable, never ever thinking ever a foul ball coming up here.
Yeah, that's our camera. Gooby, it will not. If it comes up here, it won't say Rawlings on it. It'll say Titleist. That's our only shot. Out to short. Nunez backhand. And the tag by Yepes. The early release by the shortstop made it a better play for the first baseman.
Yeah, because Joe Adell can get down the line at elite speed, which is 30 feet per second. So he had to get rid of it quickly.
But you have had the pleasure all weekend long, like you did in 17, of announcing from the highest vantage point in baseball. I mean, we're like a college football stadium up here.
Because we'll be going back to Anaheim tomorrow in our stadium. There's quite a few foul balls go flying in there. I know you've seen that before, but it's slightly different.
Yeah, we had a couple of close calls at your place last year. Those people to the right of us who buy mezzanine season tickets in your ballpark, they better bring their pickers to the game. Here's Theis, the catcher. 2 hits, 2 walks today.
He had 2 lefties in the lineup today, going in the lineup against the lefty MacKenzie Gore. To start the game, have been really solid. Theis has been on twice with walks and 2 base hits.
28 official at bats all year. Pardon me, 98 official at bats all year. And the walk total 16.
He's the right temperament for this job as the backup catcher. Logan O'Hoppe wants to catch every day. It was a good decision for Ron Washington to give him a breather. Theis has been solid in that backup role.
And right now in the Angels bullpen, it appears if it stays 6-2, Ron Washington would treat it as a safe situation with Ben Joyce on your left. If they add on, most likely Ruanzi Contreras, who only threw 2 pitches last night and got walked off on the game-winning double. Two with 1 out here. And a wide miss by Tanner Rainey. Going to be interesting, and after you guys leave town, I'll be keeping track of your ball club down the stretch to see how that whole closer thing shakes out with Joyce, who can throw so hard. And this will get over the dugout on the left side.
We had a good picture of Anthony Rendon. We'd all love to have his blood pressure, wouldn't we? As cool as can be.
Yeah, he and James Wood, if they went into a health club and took their blood pressure, the staff would think something's wrong with these guys because there's nothing pumping right now. It is just so low and so relaxed.
And you got Guillerme in there too. I mean, so you got some guys in there nice and relaxed for the Angels. Another walk.
That's 12 on the day. And Matt Theis, I mean, he's getting the Barry Bonds treatment right now. That's 3 for him.
Base 5 times today.
Just looking at his on base percentage for the fun of it. 333 coming in. Here's Michael Stefanik, who had the RBI walk last time. And this looks playable for Juan Yepes. Over there with a little help from his friends for the second out on 1 pitch. Top of the order.
He's reaching there towards the dugout. A little bit of a bobble. Still makes the play.
He's been solid over there. His bat has been the story. Kochanowicz, the hitter, and up there hacking early.
Kochanowicz with a couple walks himself today. 12 total walks for the Angels today against Nationals pitching.
Yeah, which begs the question, how are you not getting blown out on such a day? Washington actually had the tying run in the batter's box last inning. Crazy. Well, Riley Adams trying to frame it up and then holding it for a while for Hunter Wendelstedt.
That was a pretty good pitch at 95. That's right on the corner. Another potential walk here now.
Crazy how many 3-ball counts there have been. 3-1.
Go as one disengagement.
Tannerini, 95 on the heater.
That's usually the baseball where Kochanowicz will try to lift. You know, everyone's wondering he was going to develop power with 12 home runs down with 12 doubles, 24 extra base hits. That's the ball he'll try to turn on. Most times he's thinking left center, but when he's worked himself ahead of the count, he was looking to do damage and turn on that.
Yeah, 2-0, 3-1. You don't mind a swing like that. Runners on the move. Not that close. Bases loaded. No manager wants to wave the white flag, but Davey Martinez does not want to have to get another pitcher up here. It'll be Neto and Rainey. And so the catcher and the first baseman will suffice for the mound visit here. I mean, we're talking franchise history. 1973, that's Expos. That's what, year 5 of the Expos, who were born in '69. Crazy.
Neto.
That was at Jerry Park.
Wow,
because Olympic Stadium wasn't even around until the '76 Olympics.
It's a long time ago. I'll tell you what, still think Neto is going to be swinging first pitch. 371 with 3 home runs when he puts the first pitch in play.
0 for 3, 2 walks today. You know you guys pretty well there, Gooby.
Especially when you have success with that first pitch.
He is the Angels RBI leader with 61. Should be a 2020 guy very easily. Only 3 homers away from that.
It's amazing though when you think he could be a 20-20-20 guy. 20+ doubles, 20+ stolen bases, 20+ home runs, and 10 defensive runs saved. And he's been unreal with the bases loaded in his young career. 429 batting average.
1 ball, 1 strike.
I remember playing with an old teammate of mine. Pat Tabler was the best I've ever seen with bases loaded. I think he was just under 500 in his career. And he still complains about that because he had to rock it down the third baseline off the glove of Edgar Martinez, but Randy Johnson was pitching, so they gave it an error.
2-2 now. Nats almost had a 20-20-20 guy last year, Lane Thomas. Over 20 homers and steals. 18 assists. They stopped running on him, that's why.
18 assists.
2 in center field, 16 in right. So Neto with Moniak at third, who doubled. 1 out later, Theis walked, and 1 out after that. Kochanowicz walked.
Tabler was 489 in his career with the bases loaded.
That's impressive. Nice broadcasting career as well, too. 2-2. Straight back it goes.
And
I see you reaching. Yes. That's one of the few that reaches our eye level up here before it goes down.
And his theory was the reason why he was so successful with the bases loaded. He was always thinking, I just want to drive in 1 run. And that means big part of the field on a single. He wasn't thinking 4 runs. He was thinking single. And that's why he was so successful.
2-2 again. Swing and a miss on a big Tannerini slider. So we expect to see Ben Joyce, as Ron Washington trying to salvage a game out of this weekend. We'll treat it like a safe situation.
Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, and Jim Leland each had their own journey, but now their paths converge in Cooperstown, New York. The 2024 Hall of Fame induction ceremony, Sunday, July 21st on MLB Network.
Does anyone realize the monster that's lurking in Minnesota's pen? Mr. Durant.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good night. Duran, a dominant night.
This is unhittable stuff.
What's the movement? I mean, that's incredible.
Swung on a miss. He threw him something nasty and breaking.
Ball comes out with flames behind it.
He struck him out swinging. Gas at 103.
He is the best closer in baseball.
The power of baseball goes beyond the field.
It starts with kindness, reaching out a helping hand. Even the smallest gestures mean the world to a lot of people.
Stand up to cancer.
Together.
Together. Together.
Together.
Yeah, did you hear some of those sound effects? That's kind of like what it sounds like when the fastball comes in. 23 strikeouts in 25 2/3. Ben Joyce and Travis Blankenhorn here in the bottom of the ninth.
Well, you talk about great stuff, and it really has turned around for him. That's all over the lower part of the strike zone. It's been that splinker he's been throwing. It's a sinker splitter combination. Will throw a slider, a four-seam fastball that's touched 104.7 miles per hour. It's an easy little get over 101.
Tennessee Volunteer. Sidearm sling right there. Blankenhorn 0 for 3 today on 3 ground balls. And fairly well hit right side. Literally booted from Stefanik over to Neto. Oh my goodness.
That's your conventional
4-6-3.
Yes. What a play that was.
Angels get a break, but Stefanik played it tough, and the other guy was hanging around.
And towards the end of the bat, this puts it in play. And that's the thing, you know, we were talking about with Ron Washington, that Zach Neto's head is always in the game. And, you know, sometimes you're thinking, okay, that's a second baseman's ball, but he was already moving towards him to be able to get to that baseball at the deflection and still get a lot on that throw.
Yeah, if he's ball watching, that's a hit all the way.
He don't make himself feel good. He broke the glove of Kochanowicz at first base. That always makes you feel good. It means I got something on that throw too. You could talk about Ben Joyce's velocity, but I got it too.
There you go. 4-6-3.
I know he smiled at it. I know Zach Neto. I mean, off the glove, gets to that baseball, quick on the transfer, a lot on that throw. It almost went right through the mitt.
But your point's so well taken, because on every play, everybody has a place to be. And if you're ball watching, you can't make that play.
That's that splinker again at 97. Very similar to really turned Paul Skeens in that dominant pitcher for the Pirates.
And a chopper to short. Cut off, and then Drury couldn't do anything with it. And with Jacob Young running, it might not have mattered whether Drury or Neto picked that up.
They've got their fair share of infield hits in this game and in this series because that good speed they have.
That's a 2-for-4 day for him. Long way to go, though. Still down by 4 are the Nationals. And Riley Adams, the right-handed hitting catcher, is up next. 2 grounders to short, fly ball to left. This is typical Washington, though. 6 base runners in the last 2 innings now.
And
after it had been pretty quiet all day.
Overall, the Angels have done a pretty good job as far as stopping or slowing down their running game as far as stolen bases in this series.
Not many. Second in the National League in all of baseball to Cincinnati with 163 steals.
That's a big lead.
Adams, an offer, able to stop, 3-0.
$102 to a four-seamer there.
Still a hitter's count. Adams will serve one to right. And here come the Nationals again. One out. A fortunate one it was for the Angels. And the tying run will be on deck as Nasim Nunez steps in.
And that splinter, it's going to be, there's a chance it's going to be put in play. As hard as he throws, he's not a big strikeout pitcher. Take a look at our StatCast read powered by Google Cloud. That splinter, the difference between that and Skeens on the velocity of it. 97 as far as 94, but the drop on it, Skeens more because it's a little bit slower, more sink and late drop in the strike zone. Ben Joyce will work down, but that he started throwing that, just playing catch in the outfield and incorporating the game just a couple days later. You see that usage of that splinter so far. Both of them over 30% at opponent's batting average, about 190. But the width and percentage and the launch angle to be able to lift those baseballs in the air. I mean, that has been a difference maker because the four-seam fastball with both of them, it's upstairs. I even saw Ohtani at a home run off of Skeens with a high fastball. You get a chance to do that on an elevated pitch. With that splinter downstairs, it's tough to do that.
If your name's Ohtani.
Yeah.
Ball one, down and in. Joyce behind another hitter. Nasim Nunez 2 for 3 today, both infield hits. And nowhere near the on-deck circle, almost right behind the hitter, is Alex Call, cheating as much as he can to get a good look at what Joyce is throwing here. He's closer to home plate than he is the on-deck circle.
I often said, is the on-deck circle just a suggestion?
It must be. Unless you're Adrian Beltre, and then you can pick it up and move it wherever you want. But then you get thrown out of the game.
Another, I talked about Tom Seaver. I had a conversation with Don Drysdale, and he will always say if they moved over that far, there's a good chance that they're not going to be comfortable in the batter's box.
1-2, and Nunez takes it up.
It's 103 on that four-seamer.
Bottom of the ninth in a 4-run game.
It's a big pitch for the Angels, and Joyce right here.
Did he stop? He did, says Marvin Hudson at third, and that's the difference between 2 outs and a 1-out count of 3-2.
So now if you're a hitter, you're Nunez, you're just center right in the middle of the plate on that gas he's going to throw.
He'll take ball 4, and the bases are loaded, and the hot-hitting Alex Call will represent the tying run. Three consecutive base runners after that unusual first out. Call is 1 for 4 today, and against the Angels this weekend he's 6 for 13.
Very difficult guy to double up too here.
That ball appeared to be a little low. Hunter Wendelset gave him the call, and we'll see how that affects the rest of the at bat. Right back to the pitcher. He deflects it. The race is on at first. Everybody is safe. And this is a 6-3 ball game.
Boy, if he lets that go, there may be a double play. Although that's your normal reaction. Although if he makes that play, he's got a chance to go 2-3, 1-2-3 for a double play.
Well, we'll see how they score it. There will be an RBI attached to it. And now Luis Garcia is in the box. They're going to give a base hit. Garcia represents the potential winning run. 2 for 4 today.
That's all over the strike zone there that time, not called. So the first pitch against Call was borderline. It went Ben Joyce's way. This time goes just the opposite direction for a guy with a lot of power now.
Garcia's chopper will stay foul. In the rain, bottom of the ninth, Nationals were down by 3 Thursday, and he took Camilo Doval literally right down the left field line.
That tied the game. A very similar pitcher on the mound here too he's facing.
That's the Uncle Slam hat, by the way. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1. That one gets Matt Thaiss big time as he goes rolling in the dirt.
Especially when you're throwing that hard and you foul it all, how quickly that is coming back at you as a catcher.
Yep, slight redirect, straight down and went. So to reset here, 2 on 2 out with the bases loaded. Tying runs at first. I mean, the Nationals pitchers have been walking guys all day. 4 Nats have been walked by the Angels to this point. Three-two.
Good movement on that pitch by Ben Joyce. And he was able to foul that one off. They're a team that doesn't strike out a whole lot, the Nationals, and they're proving that here not only today but this entire series.
Yep, only 2 all day. Another 3-2. And Garcia just refuses to yield here. 2 strikeouts all day yesterday. Soriano did fan 7 on Friday. Oh my goodness, it is 6-4 now. And the tying run will walk down to second base. Second walk of the inning. Next up, Juan Yepez.
Both these teams play some incredibly close games, and since the All-Star break, 3 runs or fewer. The Angels at 15 of them, the Nationals at 14 of them.
Yepez 0 for 2, 2 walks today. He is the 7th batter here in the 9th inning. He's aggressive. 9 walks in 32 ball games. Had a couple today, but as a rule, he is early count swinging.
It's rolled into 5 double plays.
And that should end the game. Angels will turn the 6-4-3 and hold on to win it 6-4.
some stress in there for the Angels at the end, but that ground ball double play finished it off. The Angels salvage the series. You got to give the Nationals a lot of credit. They have some fight in them. Davey Martinez has done a real nice job with this club, but Ron Washington got the most out of his youngster on the mound today. Jack Kochanowicz gets his first major league win.
Yeah, and probably sweating it out until the end. Angels turn their second double play of the day. They're 101st on the year. Washington had turned 3. So, Gooby, I guess that's how you have a close ball game on a day when all of those walks take place, because double plays take care of some of that.
Yeah, they do, but you just don't want that extra traffic, because, you know, on the Angels side, you're giving the Nationals, with all their confidence coming back in the game, an opportunity to either tie it or walk it off here again. But a ground ball double play started there by Zach Neto, who had made a great play to start the inning off the deflection by Stefanik over at second base. Otherwise, we're talking about a completely different ball game. So great job by Zach Neto to be able to finish that one off.
The Angels stranded 14 runners, able to hold on. Washington stranding 2 in the 9th and 8 on the day. Kochanowicz gets the win. He's 1-2. MacKenzie Gore, Nats never did come back to tie it and get him off the hook. He goes to 7-10 on the year. 6-9-0 Angels, 4-9-1 Nationals. We'll have more for you straight ahead from Nationals Park as the Angels salvage the final game of this 3-game weekend series.
The power of baseball goes beyond the field.
It starts with kindness, reaching out a helping hand. Even the smallest gestures mean the world to a lot of people.
Stand up to cancer.
Together.
Together. Together.
Together.
Does anyone realize the monster that's lurking in Minnesota's pen? Mr. Duran.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good night. Duran, a dominant night.
This is unhittable stuff.
What's the movement? I mean, that's incredible.
Swung on a mist. He threw him something nasty and breaking.
Ball comes out with flames behind it.
He struck him out swinging. Gas at 103.
He is the best closer in baseball.
We're coming in hot.
Before getting on the field,
Let me bring up a couple of numbers, too.
Teams get hot, teams get cold.
I check out off base.
This guy, stuff-wise, big-time stuff.
You had your pick.
Off Base, only on MLB Network.
Welcome to the MLB Sunday leadoff postgame show on the Roku channel. Crowd filing out here at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C., where, to say the least, we had some drama there at the end. And on a day when the Nationals walked 13 Angels, still had a shot at the end. But that was a full day of baseball right there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you got to give the Nationals a lot of credit. They come back in a lot of games, but the Angels took advantage of some walks themselves, and Kevin Pillar had a nice game. But really the story was Jack Kochanowicz picking up his first win. Battle there all the way through very limited amount of pitches. He had that ground ball sinker working. Congrats on his first major league win.
Yeah, that's big for him. Well, Kevin Pillar, we talked about it today and throughout this series. He's just a veteran guy, knows how to play the game. He's had great success against Washington in his career, especially in this ballpark. And Dan Coco's downstairs with him.
Thank you very much, Bob. Here with Kevin Pillar. Kevin, Ben Joyce there in the 9th inning. The Nationals had been coming back over the course of this series. He bent, but he didn't break. What did he show you to get out of that jam there?
He's growing up. He's a young kid being asked to close out big league games with not a lot of experience, but he's been pitching really well. He wants to be out there in the 9th. So, part of being a closer is, bending and not breaking. Just like you said, he's got poise, and he trusts his stuff and trusts his defense, and got a big double play right there.
Another young pitcher went for you guys today on the mound, Jack Kochanowicz, his 3rd major league start, and he pitched deep into this ball game. You guys needed length, you needed quality, and he gave you both. What did you like out of him today?
It was unbelievable. It's never easy. I remember his first start, got hit around a little bit. I mean, I know what it's like making a major league debut. You try to be cool, calm, collective. Everyone tells you it's the same. It's not. So for him to bounce back, get this opportunity, go deep in the game, like you said, I've been hearing a lot about him, the stuff he has. He showed great composure. He worked quick. He got early outs and kept us in this game.
You've had great numbers in the course of your career against this Nationals ball club and in this ballpark. What is it about facing the Curly W?
I don't know. I wish I knew, but I love coming here. I don't know, see the ball well here. The fields, plays fair. You feel confident going to all fields here. Like I said, I love coming here.
You started the year with the White Sox, you're picked up by the Angels, and you get to 10 years, and now you're putting up great numbers overall in an Angels uniform. What has this opportunity and the success that you've had while given the opportunity meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly about the opportunity. You only get so many opportunities in this game. I came in here, understanding it could be my last opportunity. More than anything, just trying to enjoy the moment. Not trying to put too much pressure on myself to go out and perform every day, just really enjoying, still being employed, being a Major League Baseball player. Found an amazing group of guys here, a coaching staff, willing to put in the work, a bunch of young guys hungry to learn, allow me to be an older guy and come in and, teach these guys the right way to play a game. And, it's exactly what we did today. Playing 11:30 game, being West Coasters, early game, it's about just coming out here and who wants it the most. It was about just gritting it out, playing with heart, forget about all the mechanics and stuff. Let's just go out here and win a game, and that's what we did.
Kevin, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Guys.
Well, Kevin Pillar, word was on the street and around ballparks last couple of weeks that he was going to hang it up at the end of the year. I hope he doesn't, because, Gooby, you get to watch this guy on a regular basis, but from afar, and we've seen him here in this ballpark, as Dan alluded to. Baseball needs guys like this to stick around, do their thing, have success, but at the same time show some of these young athletes how to play this very complicated game.
Yeah, Bob, he has said that, but, just the other day I talked to him again. I go, what do you think? He goes, I don't know. I mean, I go way back. I coached him in high school baseball, and to see where he was from high school to where he is right now, I'd love to see him still be wearing that Angel uniform, because he helps everyone around this team so well as far as putting the ball in play, putting in the hard work, still an elite defender. He made a play already this year where, he went over the wall in Oakland. He made that diving catch on the outfield, the warning track, so he still can make those plays, and he's still coming through with so many clutch RBIs now, 40 as an Angel. I mean, that's pretty amazing what he has done so far this season as far as still driving in runs and those big hits he's had with the Angels.
Yeah, 40 RBIs and hitting over 280, giving a breath of fresh air from the side of Chicago to Southern California. Kevin Pillar. Well, that's the ball game. 6-4 Angels win it. We have more straight ahead on our post-game coverage as the Angels salvage one from this 3-game weekend series in D.C.
Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, and Jim Leland each had their own journey, but now their paths converge in Cooperstown, New York. The 2024 Hall of Fame induction ceremony, Sunday, July 21st. On MLB Network.
The power of baseball goes beyond the field.
It starts with kindness, reaching out a helping hand. Even the smallest gestures mean the world to a lot of people.
Stand up to cancer.
Together.
Together. Together.
Together.
All rise. Here comes the judge.
Judge is in a league of his own.
Aaron Judge is a special talent, man. I look at him like the best hitter in this generation.
And that one is gone!
See ya!
You come up here and you want to make a great impression. Hit every single at bat, really help the team.
Amazing performance by Judge.
He is everything that is good about the game of baseball.
Welcome back to the MLB Sunday leadoff postgame show on the Roku channel. Well, the young right-handed starter for the Angels turns out to be the story of this game. And Gooby, I know every time you see a guy get his first major league win, it's got to take you back a few years, way back, in fact, 40-some years. But Jack Kochanowicz today, good for him, and he was really in command through 7 innings.
Even after his last start in which he struggled, Bob, I talked to him, and Logan O'Hoppe was the same way. We just said, hey, your stuff is so good. If you just got to trust that contact and keep that ball down in the strike zone, use that sinker. He had his sinker working all day long. And in that conversation when Ron Washington came out to him and said, hey, get back to that ground ball. You got a ground ball out and then a ground ball double play. Just a dominant performance. And take a look at our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud, where he got a lot of those outs. You're talking about avoiding that middle of the plate. He's worked the lower third on the outer half of the plate, and he got ground ball after ground ball. 15 outs with his sinker today.
7 2/3, 6 hits, couple of runs. Baumann got a key out after a couple of walks in the 8th inning. Ben Joyce, that was a long 9th inning for him. Nationals made him sweat it out. And for the starter, Angels starter, 14 ground ball outs, including a couple of double plays. And I guess it was fitting the game would end on a double play after he was departed. Now, MacKenzie Gore, the puzzling 2024 season from the Washington standpoint continues for him. All the talent, all the stuff, all the velo you could want in a young pitcher. Somewhere there's a disconnect, and he's got to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, you see all the foul balls today on his four-seam fastball, his slider, and his curveball. I really think part of it is a lot of his pitches are very similar speeds. When you're a hitter and your timing is all right no matter what, if you just have to throw maybe a changeup in there a little bit slower so you can throw the timing off, and his stuff is so good, you don't expect him to have to go out there and walk the amount of guys he did, or throw those pitches in the middle part of the plate and get that many foul balls. So you should never, when you have a fastball that can run at 97 miles an hour, you have a slider, a wipeout slider, and curveball, you should be getting a lot more swing and misses than you do as far as foul balls.
Key play there, down to Tena at third base. It bloodied his thumb. Could have been a potential double play ball. That made all the runs in the inning unearned. There were 4 walks. And then, of course, Kevin Pillar, the big blow of the game to clear the base.
Yeah, for the Angels, that's the one guy you wanted to be up there in that spot because he can slow the game down. When you have a lot of young players, sometimes you can't slow the game down. Pillar has done that a number of times where he's got those big hits. He's not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. That one he pulled, most times, even in New York, he went the other way, on a pitch, by Nestor Cortez well off the plate. He still punched it in the right field for a 2-run single. So he makes good contact. He's a leader for these young guys. But going back to Gore, when you walk guys, you put yourself in those positions, I still think you just kind of separate and change speeds. If he does, he could be a 15, 18-game winner every year.
Most walks in the history of the Washington Nationals in one game, and way up there even when you add in the days in Montreal. 690 Angels, 491 Nationals. More from Nationals Park straight ahead.
You know who's hot right now? Your guy C.J. Abrams.
The Nationals all-star candidate at shortstop.
C.J. Later.
I love watching the guys that are just continue to get better and better. He's getting it going.
I've always loved C.J. Abrams. He is a complete hitter.
Just getting better any way I can.
As soon as he went to the leadoff spot, that's when the national season changed.
Welcome to the C.J. Show.
I want to get to the next break. Every time. Every time.
Gone, goodbye.
This guy is just starting to scratch the surface of what he can be.
Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, and Jim Leland each had their own journey, but now their paths converge in Cooperstown, New York. The 2024 Hall of Fame induction ceremony begins Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network.
The power of baseball goes beyond the field.
It starts with kindness, reaching out a helping hand. Even the smallest gestures mean the world to a lot of people.
Stand up to cancer.
Together.
Together. Together.
Together.
Give me that burger to go! Walk-off win! It's out of here! Davey Martinez wins it! Lindor continues to shine with the leather. Marlins are rebuilding. The Mets, are they contending? That's up to them over the next couple of weeks. That's next week here on Roku. Nationals at Atlanta 2 weeks from now. Dodgers, Diamondbacks, heavyweight NL West matchup. Tampa Bay and Baltimore, yeah, heavyweight AL East matchup. So there's your next 4 weeks as far as our Sunday schedule. Downstairs now, post-game. Let's hear from Davey Martinez.
Yeah, you know, we got to keep working with him. He's got to understand that strike one for him is going to be his best pitch. He was 4 for 17, getting ahead of hitters today. He falls behind and the foul balls. He's got to work ahead. He's got to get ahead and stay ahead. And but his stuff is, he's got good stuff. He really does. So just got to keep harping on it. And mechanically today, I thought he looked fine. The ball's coming out well. It's just the constant, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, and foul, and then walking guys. So, I thought he could have got out of the inning. We got a ground ball. We couldn't turn it over play. Thank goodness Jose's okay. His nail's a little beat up, but he's going to be fine. But we get out of the inning right there. It's a different game.
If you aren't seeing it as a mechanical issue, what's kind of the genesis of the?
He's just got to get the ball in the zone. His misses are misses. They're not close. So like I said before, if he wants to get chase misses, he's got to be around the plate all the time. That's when you get hitters in swing mode.
You talked about the foul balls. It seems like it's happening a ton in 2-strike counts. Why do you feel like it's happening?
Everything's out. everything's up. He tries to throw the ball up, but everything's up, and guys can see the ball a little better up than down.
Is he trying to go up, or is it just?
Yeah, he's. I mean, his swing and misses, at times is up, but it's up when you're ahead, not the 3-2s, 2-2s. So we got to get him. We got to get him down. He doesn't realize how important it is for him to throw the ball down to change eye levels, not just continue to throw the ball up.
Well, Davey Martinez knows you can't walk 13 guys in a ball game and win, but they had a chance at the very end. Mark, known you for a long time. What a treat for me to be able to work with you after all these years.
Bob, you're a legend, man. This is a lot of fun to be able to work here with you today. And I'll tell you what, it was a close game at the end. I mean, when you look at the Nationals twice, not only the winning run there in the ninth, but they had the tying run coming up in the eighth inning. But the Angels battled. The kid did a great job on the mound. And Kevin Pillar, Mickey Moniak, and Matt Theis, two lefties going against MacKenzie Gore, the left-handed starter, had big games for the Halos. So it was a big win after two tough wins the first 2 days, where you were smiling pretty good on that one. 2 walk-offs.
Well, yeah, the Nats had their share this weekend. Good luck to your young rebuilding ball club, and hopefully some of the same of that happening here in Washington, D.C. Angels win it today 6-4, and as a reminder, the Roku channel will be broadcasting an exclusive game every Sunday through September 15. Next week, the Marlins visiting the Mets. Paul Severino from Miami, Anthony Recker, the old catcher for the Mets in the booth. For Mark Gubazat, Dan Colco, and our entire crew here in D.C., Bob Carpenter saying thanks for watching MLB Sunday Leadoff on the Roku channel. Angels come out on top, salvage a game of the series from Washington. See you later.